Hey guys, it's your boy Stevie Ray back again for another TKN Celebrity Prediction. Now this week, we got three combatants. One from the wrestling world, one from the basketball world, and one from talking about sports. Yes, that's our first guy, Mr. John Anderson. You guys remember him from SportsCenter. Yeah, up there chopping it up with all the guys. Well, John is here today, and he's here to lay it down like he's been doing for some 25 years on ESPN. Yes. Secondly, we have Mr. Matt Riddle, a pro wrestler like myself. And Matt has been on the show doing his thing. And guess what, guys? He's always moved forward. So, holding up the pro wrestling contingency, a Mr. Matt Riddle. Third, last but not least, former NBA veteran, a Mr. Paul Mokeski. Yes, Paul played right here in my town, Houston, Texas. I remember him, but I want to see him tonight. I want to see if he still has a little pep in his step. I want to see if he can still jump and get those rebounds. Because TKN Celebrity Tournament, brother, you got to be an all-around guy to move to the next round. Now, my prediction this week, who will move forward? I'm going to predict. I'm going to predict Matt Riddle. And I'm also going to predict Mr. John Anderson. Because if he doesn't know how to do anything else, he knows how to talk. That's my prediction for this week. Paul, I know you still got a little step, little hops, but this week, I can't go with you, baby. So I'll see you, and I wouldn't want to be you. Peace.
This is different, and I love it, man, because it got me thinking like I was back at school again. I don't even know where you come up with these questions. I want to know how you come up with these questions. You're so innovative. I'm like, look, I mean, your mind is good, like you said. You're a history teacher, and your mind is going all over the place. So,
and it's also wonderful to hear people talk sanely to each other.
You have something amazing going with the show because you're there and you're educating us.
Sure. Your platform gives us an opportunity to really let our guard down. I never told anybody in public about that experience with my dad. And on your platform, I don't know why I did that, because it's so comfortable and we're talking about things that matter.
I love the little anecdote of comedy with your would you pay for it? Would you not? I love that. I love how you added that in to kind of break up the tension a little bit, because it gets serious.
We want to know people's stories,
I concur.
And that's what TKN does, So I love
uplifting human being. Last name Ferrigno, first name Lou. Lou, welcome, my friend.
Thank you. That's the best introduction I've ever heard in my life. You know something? You need to quit the show and be my moderator and travel with me.
Together for a majestic, out of this world, one-of-a-kind human being. First name Vivica, last name Fox. Welcome, my friend.
Whoa, that was an awesome introduction. Let me tell you that. I don't think I've ever had anyone read my resume with such flow.
Avi is a poet, but he doesn't know it, but his feet show it. You're unbelievable.
Last name Wilkins, first name Lenny. Lenny, welcome, my friend, to the celebrity tournament.
Well, thank you for having me, and I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to this. It should be fun.
Last name Murphy, first name Calvin. Calvin, welcome to the tournament, my friend.
Damn. You said it just like I wrote it.
But these rhymes are going to wind down as I've reached the home stretch, the one and only Tretch. I
You
appreciate
better
that.
than a lot of these rappers out there.
You gave me good eargasm tonight, man. I love your voice. I love the things that you talk about.
Well, you're the best I've seen. You're the Michael Jordan or LeBron James, whoever you want to make the GOAT.
This is why your audiences love you. This is why you continue to great guests, and great guests beget great guests.
I just want to do this again and again. I feel like I've made friends. And again, I've taken the competition part of it out because I've just enjoyed talking to you guys tonight.
Oh man, most definitely. This is, this I think my top. I think because when you do the intro you gave me, I gotta get to. I like.
You deserve it.
I can count my friends on one hand. Well, wait, on one finger. You.
Oh, man. Thank you so much, my friend. Because if you don't heal from what hurts you, you'll bleed on people that never even cut you to begin with. It had nothing to do with your pain.
All right.
So
Tell him, Avi. Tell him. Tell him.
You guys are bringing the best out of me.
I mean, yes, pain is inevitable. I mean, there's a reason we have these sensors in our body. I mean, they're warning signs. In other words, something hurts. Obviously, something is amiss.
But she would sit at the kitchen table looking out the window for quite a period of time while the food was getting prepared. And I wish I had took that time to sit down with her and ask her questions about her being a child, along with my aunts, my uncles, so I could not only be a blessing to her and know more and sympathize and love her more as a mother, but also to know more about myself and my sisters and understand where we've come from.
This thing has drawn me out of myself and thereby drawn me into myself. But I learned a lot. And from you, Avi, I always learned something from you.
Continue to work as hard as you can, because by working, Avi, you will keep yourself busy and get used to the grief.
More underrated, we have Billy D. Williams, Italian men named Skippy, or Unicycle.
I'm sorry, Italian men named Skippy. Put me away, Avi.
Archie Bunker, the mountain climber. Ralph Cramden, the yoga instructor, or Don Corleone, the computer repair person.
It's clearly an issue with the hard drive.
I'm going to go Don Corleone.
Here, the reason I'm going for Christmas is because it does create those amazing memories that I've, and Sarge, I know you've been there too, because I've seen you at so many different great events for Muscular Dystrophy Association.
You compete with yourself. The Joe Reed, especially working with him, taking pictures in the magazine, helping me to shape my body and educate my mind.
There are those of us who like to venture to the unexplored, to see the beauty in the strange and unknown. Those of us who go out there with a sense of wonder.
God, it matters not how straight the gate, how punishment charged the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.
There is nothing that was on TV tonight that even remotely rivals what we did on this broadcast.
Hi, I'm Rick Barry, a member of the Basketball Hall of Fame and one of the NBA's top 50 players. And I'm really excited to tell you about my new relationship in the broadcasting world with the new network.
It's TKN, and a young man named Avi Klein has poured his blood, sweat, and tears into creating this new network and assembling an amazing group of individuals.
Legends from every walk of life who are just bringing their knowledge and their experience and their wisdom, and this is amazing. I feel like this is a cosmic convergence of what is most important to him, and he's such a stand-up guy.
Avi, congratulations. I don't know anybody that can talk as much as you. Seriously, I thought I could talk. You are unreal. But you do it with class, understanding, professionalism. You're simply amazing. I told you that when I first met you, and you ran off my autobiography. It basically was a book. It was simply fantastic. And to think that you do that every show.
It's very respectful, and he really connects with the artists and his audiences. And I felt like this guy's on to something, and I'm proud to be a part of this with him.
And I really thank your support. I lost my father, and you were the first person to support me in all that, and I thank you so much for that.
The greatest wealth is when you can share it with someone. You can share your victories, you can share your failure, you can express your deepest feelings, but the greatest wealth is to be able to say that I have and I feel an unbelievable level of wealth. And a lot of that is because I have somebody like you.
Are you here to win the whole darn tournament?
I don't play. I just win.
Robert, would you like to win this entire tournament?
You know, all those luminaries and athletes and strongmen notwithstanding, the most dangerous place on this show is between me and that prize. That's all I'm going to say.
You're chomping at the bit to get in this thing.
Yeah, man. I've been telling you, brother. You brought up some names to me, and I was like, I can't wait. I hope they don't see me because it's going to be on like a steaming pot of neck bones, baby, and I'm not playing.
Are you here to win the entire thing, my friend?
I'll just say this, Avi. Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
But are you here to win the entire celebrity tournament when it's all said and done?
I saw a very familiar face in Mike Rotundo, better known as IRS, and he said that he was here for the winner, winner, chicken dinner, and I want to take away that chicken dinner, so yes, I want to win this whole shebang.
Last name Smith, first name Joe. Joe Smith, welcome, my friend.
Oh my God, Avi. Where did you get all of that from? Oh my God.
Guys and gals and pals, it's Saturday night. I'm feeling quite right. And guys, of course you are as well, because we don't just, I don't like that word. There's no just in theater. There's also no just in life. We have legendary ESPN analyst, of course, Mr. John Anderson, NBA Great Paul Mokeski, WWE and UFC Great, Mr. Matt Riddle. But guys and gals and pals, of course, as you know, this is our 247th episode. We are here, guys and gals and pals, to give you the very best. We've never had a day off, never had a night off, never a repeat, never a rerun. And right now, thanks to a streaming service not up there in the sky, it's a reality. We started with a big donut, and right now, because of you, 4.3 million. Thank you, guys and gals, for supporting the new network. It is something different, and that's not a bad thing, because we have philosophical fun. We provide you with endless edutainment. That's where entertainment meets education. They marry each other. Not like the marriage I used to have. That's a different story. They marry each other. It works out really well, and we give you edutainment personified across the board. Of course, it's a tournament. Of course, one, and I get goosebumps when I think about this, one out of 149 Hall of Famers for the world of sports, music, and wrestling, not to mention Oscar, Grammy, Tony, Emmy, Golden Globe, AMA, WGA Award winners and nominees, all competing for the pride and the prize. But what's even more rewarding is that strangers leave as friends. This is a place where strangers walk in and friends walk out that door, and I'm very, very happy about that, guys and gals and pals. This is a place that allows you to think this is a place that isn't the same old. We get to peel back the layers and find out who the person behind the persona is in a very respectful fashion. So remember, if we've hit a cultural plateau in the 21st century, maybe technology keeps advancing, and instead of creating new cultural movements, maybe we're recycling and blending old ones. This right here is brand spanking new, because we had a big studio last year saying you can't win if you put out positivity. We're not going to do anything salacious, but guess what? We're going to have a ton of fun. Yes, guys and gals and pals, thank you for inviting us to your living room. So with that, I'll zip the old lip, and let's bring in our first participant right about now. Guys and gals and pals, when I think of this friend, I think of the following. I think of traveling, and some traverse near and far to see what many cannot for them. Guys and gals, this man is authentic. He's genuine. He's kind. He's highly intelligent. And he reminds me of something Walt Whitman said, which is, let your soul stand cool and composed before a million universes. Well, those words, again, apply to our next participant because he epitomizes that very quote.
And really taught me how to play the game at a professional level. But spending all day there, I learned how to find a basket by myself, learned how to play a little bit. I have so many people to thank. Most of those guys have gone on and become head coaches and have already been successful in their time in the NBA. I think you have to think of ways when you're a coach to help your team win. And then what an exciting time we had there. I'll tell you what, the people here are kind and generous and loving. That was the most talented big man I'd ever coached.
As Neil Armstrong took his first step on the moon and uttered the words, one small step for man, one big leap for mankind. And, I think in many ways as a young kid, this was amazing to me, but it was more the imagination of let's think outside the box and see what we can do as a community. And we're just going to go on the floor. We're going to talk to the kids with cancer and more importantly, really not more importantly, but their parents who were struggling, of children that were dying or in bad treatment and in pain. And we were there to try to talk to them and just give them a little, freedom just to forget about it for a little bit.
Guys and gals and pals, remember, this is truly a sport of the mind, and I don't mind reminding all of you that this man here, our first participant, has quite the mind, quite the intellectual. So guys and pals, without any further ado, our first participant is a native of Spokane, Washington. He grew up in Canoga Park, California, attended Crespi Caramel High School in Encino, where he would hear the fans scream and roar. He was a big UCLA Bruins fan, rooting for legends such as Bill Walton and Lou Alcindor. He used to religiously watch the Thursday tape-delayed games on Friday at midnight, where he'd cheer madly for the great John Wooden's teams, but soon he wouldn't have to take a back seat. Wooden's teams, guys and gals, were incredible. Let's remember also that his father, Casimir, who graduated from Gonzaga in 1952, was 6'4", while his mom was 6 feet. By the time he was approaching his teens in 7th grade, our participant was also 6 feet. As guys and gals and pals, he grew and grew and grew. By the time he was approaching his teens, guys and gals, in 7th grade, it was already a foregone conclusion this man might be a center, because by 8th grade he was 6'2", and by senior year in high school he had dropped out at 7 feet, years before he played for the city of Brew. He was selected as a high school All-American in 75, where he led the Celts to their finest season. Despite running into Reggie Theos in Inglewood, the team reeled off 17 consecutive victories, and our 7-footer was the primary reason. Crespi finished that season as sterling, 25-2. A lot of people assumed that he was going to UCLA because of the big man connection there. He decided he wanted to get away from home, and ultimately he would leave and play elsewhere. He took 6 visits to Washington State, Arizona State, USC, Gonzaga, and Kansas, and also North Carolina State. But all that changed when he visited KU, as it felt natural and great. It felt like the place he needed to be. Call it fate. He played 4 seasons in Lawrence from 75 to 79, but let's talk about 78. Guys and gals, he helped the Jayhawks to a 24-5 record and the Big 8 championship, and he was among the team's top 5 scorers in 3 of his 4 seasons as his future was taking off like a rocket with an efficient piston, and soon he'd be wearing the Deers. When he came out of college, he set a goal when he accomplished through blood, sweat, and tears. He wanted to play in the NBA for a solid 10 years. He accomplished just that, and during his 23-year coaching and scouting and playing career that followed, this man saw it all. If you stood toe-to-toe with him, you surely had some gall. He'd captivate you with his hustle like Bob Odenkirk and Better Call Saul. He was one of Milwaukee's most popular players, like an Orange Julius at your favorite mall. He's humble, smart, kind, and his heart is way bigger than 7 feet tall, so give it up to a friend, colleague, and great. Last name McKesky. First name Paul. Welcome, my friend, to round 2 of the celebrity tournament.
You're awesome, man. I think I just want to get all your intros on reel and just play them on a headset, pretty much before I go to sleep, when I wake up, because I know people have said it before, but you're just awesome. And I really appreciate having you as a friend. And you kind of surprised me a little bit with that Don Nelson clip. He was just given the Chuck Daly Award, a coaching award.
Sure.
Nelly, I played for some great coaches. Let's say I played for Chuck Daly for a minute in Cleveland. I played with I played for Lenny Wilkins. I played for Del Harris, and of course, I played for Don Nelson for 2 teams in Milwaukee and Golden State.
Yeah.
And Nelly was one of those coaches that thought outside the box and was a player's coach, all that stuff. But he was an interesting person, but he was really a great friend.
Sure.
And he saved my, I don't say, but almost pretty much saved my career when I was cut by Cleveland after my, I think, 4th year in the league. And, I was looking for a team, and I had some teams interested, and Milwaukee really kind of rung my bell, because talking to my agent, Bob Lanier was getting older, and maybe I could fill his shoes later on.
Sure.
He brought me on for a 10-day, then another 10-day, and then signed me for the rest of the year and another year, which turned into 7 years. And then years later, I'd been coaching for 15 years at the development league level and internationally. And I did something really, really stupid and really, really bad where, I lost my job. I almost lost my family. It's been 25 years now that I've been clean and sober. And, but he took a chance. At that point, I was so down that I thought, my coaching career is over. Forget about it. I mean, I'm done. And then the next year, after I had worked with Fellowship of Christian Athletes for a while and spoke at schools about drug and alcohol free and playing and this stuff and my story, I wrote a lot of people a letter, some friends, coaches, about where I was and what happened and, where I'm going now. And he actually called me and said, "Hey, Mo, I got your letter. You want to come in and volunteer to be a coach for training camp here in Dallas with the Mavericks?"
It says a lot about both of you, actually. It says a lot about you and you. Yeah.
He said, "I got a really good team. I think we're going to go for it." We had Dirk Nowitzki, Steve Nash, Mike Finley. He said, "Come in. We'll put you up for a couple of weeks, and you show up at practice, and you'll be in meetings and all this stuff." And I think great. Then he found out that I could actually coach, and I knew what I was doing, and the players liked me a lot. And then he signed me for the rest of the year. And he had me. He said, "Listen, I have people everywhere, and if I hear of you or someone calls me and says, I saw Mo having a beer here or doing that, I'm going to fire you on the spot."
And you respected that. You obviously respected
absolutely. That. I understood that. So yes, I'll take Dirk. I'll do whatever you want. But he was the one that reached out to me, and it led to 5 years coaching in Dallas,
incredible
NBA Finals against the Miami Heat, and then two years in Charlotte with Sam Vincent, and then continued my career where in 2012 I actually coached with the Great Britain team in the Olympics with Chris Finch. So Nelly really has a place in my heart, and
I could see why in the short amount of time we become really good friends. I could tell why. Really, to know you is to appreciate you, my friend.
And that tells me, I mean, you know me because you put that in there, and I'm sitting there just thinking, oh, he knows me.
Hopefully Mr. Nelson sees that in Hawaii right now. My friend, I will put you backstage and bring you right back. Mr. Paul Mokeski, guys and gals, what a gentleman and what an intelligent mind he is. I can and will say the same thing about our next participant right now, Mr. Matt Riddle, who, again, in the short amount of time I've got to know him, I love his energy. I love his vibe. He once said something. He strikes me as a very honest person, extremely. But he once said something I didn't quite believe. He said, some people don't like him. How could you not like Matt Riddle, who tells it like it is, who's a gentleman, who doesn't size people up? Really, he's direct. And don't we want that in life? Don't we want to be around people who can cut through all the crap? I respect that. I can say that right now wholeheartedly. Guys and gals and pals, not to mention one of the most successful two-sport athletes. This is a man who has done so very much and still is right now. I can't wait to see this man's future because his presence kicking ass. Guys, I think of the word greatness when I think of Matt. It transcends any era, and he's elevated his level of greatness to improbable heights. The excellency of his art is consistency, its intensity, and it's the capability of making all things improbable evaporate. Not many of us know what we're made of until we face seemingly insurmountable odds when we're at our best, in our prime. This man has, and he's conquered each and every one of them in some of the most high-stakes situations known to any athlete.
I knew him because of The Ultimate Fighter, that reality show. So it was like way back then. He's always been cool, you know. Also, just because of Matt, just being around him too, it was just like I just felt like really comfortable, and I felt more like, you know, whatever happens, and somebody that actually went and did it, you know, and was in there, you know, with MMA where you really risk a lot, you know, and someone that has what it takes to go through something like UFC matches. That's there's like an automatic respect there for me that I feel, and it does make things easier.
And it's also, when I was growing up as a kid, I was prescribed a lot of, you know, Riddle, and there's a lot of ADHD medication, which didn't used to be such a big thing. But nowadays, you see how they're pushing it on all these kids, and it has long-term effects. And even when I was a kid, I had some long-term effects from using it from 3rd grade up into high school. And once I stopped taking it, I stopped having those issues. But I think the biggest thing is, unfortunately, because it should be our biggest tool to advance and excel past our limitation, it's holding us back. Technology and how easy it is for us to get things. I can pick up my phone and Uber Eats food to my house. I don't have to cook. I don't have to clean. I don't have to do anything. It shows up. I have to touch a couple buttons, use those fast thumbs Dan was talking about. And it's that easy.
Mr. Matt Riddle, guys and gals and pals. Again, highly intelligent man. Love where his mind goes. Our next participant has excelled in the UFC in the world of wrestling, which makes him a pro. He's versatile and offers up a ton like a can of Progresso. Cheap plug. So while I continue my flow, hopefully my verbal dissertation will inform you all of why he's more than just king of the bros. He was born in 1986 and is from upstate New York. Soon, he put more smiles, guys and gals, on people's faces than Robin Williams' portrayal of the alien Mork. From Allentown, PA to Saratoga Springs, he grew up in a house where no one watched sports, but his dad would occasionally flip the dial and settle on pro wrestling. Guys, he fell in love with the craft as it proves to be more like some random fling. He watched Hogan and the Giant in a cage, and from that point on, he was hooked. This was during a time in which anyone under 285 pounds was often overlooked. Growing up by a lake with a book-smart older brother, he oftentimes wrestled on a trampoline, but he was infatuated with the art of pro wrestling. He was, guys and gals, there was no in-between. There was some obstacles early on, as his mom wouldn't allow him to wrestle unless it was under a mask. Amateur wrestling and MMA seemed more realistic, so he would traverse and prepare himself for quite the task. He started amateur wrestling when he was only 13 years old, which was quite bold, especially when you consider, guys and gals, that he was told He carved out his own path to success as he became a high school state wrestling champion in 2004. The aficionados let their hair down as upon watching him, they wanted more, more, more. Can you blame them? His opponents would often let out ear-inducing groans and moans. Heck, he beat the very best as early as high school, including future UFC great John Jones. He did this not once, but twice. Once he hooked you on the mat, he was on you like lice, with the skill and efficiency of a mid-90s Glenn Rice. This is a man that won the Nationals and the Worlds in Jiu-Jitsu, and he still remained grounded and made everyone laugh like a glasses-wearing comedian named Drew. This is a man that always had his priorities straight, raising 5 kids. You name the job, he did it all. He landscaped, he roofed, he shoveled driveways in the winter. Also, his kids could stand tall and never fear the fall. Within MMA, he was a near-perfect record of 26-1. He would even get a fight of the night, as he never ducked an opponent, nor did he run. He once took a UFC pay-per-view fight in only 7 days' notice. That's the equivalent of going on a date without any Listerine and still expecting a goodnight kiss. The man is big on taking care of his responsibilities, as when he moved from Vegas to PA, he chose the Monster Factory, and he would soon become a pro wrestling star. Learning how to showcase his personality, make him stand out like a politically incorrect Bill Maher. He is a former 2-time WWE Tag Team Champion, is also a former WWE US Champ. It's a shame Vince wouldn't let him use a dirt bike when he went down the ramp. It isn't merely the style. All the while, it's the substance, because he always makes sure to brighten the day with his infectious smile. He is now here to win this tournament, the most star-studded of them all, without any, guys and gals, maybe even with or without his hat. He's made his opponents go splat. These rhymes that I spat are about to be done just like that, as I introduce a man that has the strength of a lion and might best them all like that particular cat. So let me bring him in. Stat, a humble, funny, real, kind, down-to-earth human being. Last name Riddle, first name Matt. Welcome, my friend, to round 2 of the tournament.
Bro, Avi, thanks for having me. I'm stoked to be here. I didn't know if I was going to make it past round 1, but when I was very pleasantly surprised, and I'm back. I'm ready. I'm here to win. I got some fierce competition, but with that introduction, I mean, I think I already did.
That's the easy part, my friend. Throughout the entire week, man, I'm thinking about you guys and your quest and your journey, and it inspires me. It's the stuff people don't see behind the scenes. It's easy to do that stuff because you guys have done so much professionally, and now personally in this arena, we get to know you, man, your mind, your heart. I'm not surprised you moved on to the next round because, again, I think I said this to you on screen. I'll say it again publicly. Really, to know you is to appreciate you because you cut through the BS. You keep it real all the time, and I like people like that in my life. So thank you for being you, bro.
Thank you for being you, and thanks for having me on again, bro.
100%. My friend, again, 15 grand. It looks like it might even increase round to round. We don't know, but we do know it's a 5-day, 5-night trip to Greece first class. Would you like to win the entire shebang, my friend?
I really would. Also, that trip to Greece, I think, would be lovely. Take the lady out there. You know, we work hard with the 5 kids and just wrestling all the time, training. You know how it is, just on that grind, you know?
100%, my friend. You do it so well. I will put you backstage, bring in Mr. John Anderson, and we'll be off to the races. Mr. Matt Riddle, guys and gals and pals, a gentleman, an awesome human being. And again, Mr. John Anderson, a man who I've listened to. He doesn't know. Hopefully he'll turn beet red. I hope he turns beet red. I don't know. Maybe he will. But he made me really appreciate words. He made me appreciate language. He made me appreciate. I'm a big sports fan, of course, as well. And the way he put it all together was just absolutely amazing. I hope he can take his roses well. Guys and gals and pals, again, Mr. John Anderson is coming right now through this virtual door. I do want to say this. He's a man that's class personified. His on-air accomplishments, his storytelling, and his respect for the written word are only surpassed by his grace, by his honesty, by his humility, and by his kindness. Everyone in the same circle that he and I are in call this man a great person, and it's easy to see why.
Every day I am reminded that our life's journey is really about the people who touch us. Hopefully I'm inspiring. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. Understand the power in your words. Every time you speak for the rest of your life, you will be making somebody else's reality. You have power in your words. Don't be afraid to use it. Your friend is somebody who knows the song in your heart and can sing it back to you when you've forgotten the words. Cherish your friendships and go make a difference. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. I love you guys more than I will ever be able to express. You two are my heartbeat.
So I go over there and I think I'll just high jump with Terry. And it turns out I was pretty good at it. I had grown enough and had a modicum of ability that I was over there jumping, and now I just was beating him consistently. And so I was not in a hurry to go back to tennis practice. And the track coach came by one day and he just like, who are you? Like who's this guy that's just over here beating the guy that's my high jumper? So, like I said, I think I'm going to go avoiding pain with the idea that I'm not necessarily chasing the pleasure. I would just like to make sure that, somebody's not hurting.
Well, I can't imagine anyone hurting when they're around this man over here who prioritizes everything, including his family first. You have to respect that. Guys and gals and pals, he was born in Iowa to parents Karen and Kenny, though a tragedy struck when he was just 6 months old. In November of '65, his father was killed in a car crash in rural Iowa on a gravel road. He, his mom, and sister Leslie lived in a small house in Mason City. With good neighbors on either side of them, support should have never been confused with pity. That summer, his mom took he and his sister to visit their neighbors who were in Green Bay. It was warm and inviting, which makes me think of something back in the day. Madison Square Garden, back when the Knicks actually knew how to play. It's quite all right, but much to my dismay, I was a Queens kid with no alternative, unless you consider the Mets, who stunk it up in Shea. But guys, I digress. As the calendar year turned to 1967, Karen and her 2 children moved to Green Bay, and he would experience only the very best. Think the Packers, Paper Mills, Kennedy Elementary School, Lombardi, Fish on Friday, and Southwest. Such irony eludes not one that embraces great energy. His father may have been God, but his dad, Walter Collins, was the best man that he never knew. He was loved unconditionally, and sports would be a primary interest as he grew and grew. Purity in sports ages like fine wine when we recall a place called yesteryear, and we remind ourselves of where we stood. Winning the week-long city baseball championship might have been the best experience in his entire childhood. One of his prized possessions as a youngster was a Cleveland Brown helmet that his uncle got when such a feat was quite rare and worth the hype. Sports heroes were aplenty back then, and he would pretend that he was none other than Brian Sipe. He graduated from Southwest High in '83 and made his way to the University of Missouri to kick off a journalist career. His loyalty to all things Wisconsin sports is epic, from the Packers to the Deer that most teams used to fear, with legends that they would cheer, such as Sidney Moncrief, Marcus Johnson, and even still kicking butt Bob Lanier. Guys and gals, always, forever. His 4-year track career under legendary coach Bob Thiel was a great experience, and he has since championed track and field. As an anchor, he was honest and compassionate and even keeled, as he was perfect for suffering sports fans whose hearts needed to be healed. Out of college, his first stop was a television station in Tulsa, Oklahoma, before moving to a station in Phoenix. ESPN came calling, and soon he would be transfixed at his presence, professionalism, humor, and writing. He covered games, whether they were blowouts or nail-biting. His voice and diction can resolve any friction and decrease the tension. If he were around, then Ralph Cramden would never get upset at Alice, nor would there have been a Pacers-Pistons brawl at the Palace. His voice of reason would have prevented a punch by an artist named Ron. For 25 years, he's been one of the faces of ESPN and SportsCenter with organizational skills like a Corleone named Don, a brand of humor that can rival Vince Vaughn, and he is respected like a James named Con. They know his name from Yukon to San Juan, so put your hands together for a wonderful, talented human being. Last name Anderson. First name John. Welcome, Mr. Anderson, to round 2 of the celebrity tournament, my friend.
Well, isn't that pleasant to be remembered a little bit now that I'm no longer there doing SportsCenter? That's great. It was great to see Stuart and hear his voice again. And the last line there where he talks about his wonderful daughters.
Sure.
That's always great. I can't believe in the rhyme on this program. You name all those Milwaukee Bucks and leave out McKesky, which I get might be hard to rhyme. But it's
no, he's your competition tonight. So,
and I hope that since you mentioned Missouri, Paul, as a KU guy, will not protest. Yes. We can play nice, because otherwise, usually we fight like it's like Jayhawks and Tigers when you get through there. But it is fine. It's great to be back. I will try my best to live up to the billing. I don't know that anybody can after hearing so many of these, but I'll do my best. And unlike everybody else, I want the prize, but I just want everybody to know, I just hope both teams have fun.
Both teams have fun.
I just want to make sure that if in fact it's not me, that hopefully I will be happy for the other guy.
I love it, my friend. I definitely do. I want to tell you this really quickly. You wrote, I think this might have been an independent article, but you wrote something so beautiful about your hometown. And that inspired me to come up with a topic, which I've never done.
Huh.
But this is about, and our fans will know what topic 1 is pretty soon, because a person who loves their home is a person that never forgets it. And you clearly never forgot your roots and where you came from, Mr. Anderson.
That's when I was young. As you mentioned, my father passed away and we moved to Green Bay.
Yeah.
And that place took care of me.
Yeah.
That place did. The people around us took care of me. And my friends that are still there that I get to, I'm fortunate enough to go back and see, and everybody else. And like, I think everybody has that probably somewhere in there that loves that. I'm sure there are native New Yorkers, even though there's millions of people compared to 100,000, it's different swaths. But Green Bay is a size where you literally feel like the entire town took care of you, maybe not your particular borough or your block.
Sure.
That happens. And so it was a great place to grow up, and I'm happy to go back. I was there recently and took a bunch of my students from the University of Missouri up there.
Oh, that's really cool.
For the NFL draft, which was great fun. And they're like, I can't believe you live that close to Lambeau Field. I'm like, I did. And compared to my friends, though, I lived completely. I always tell people I was kind of in the shadow of it.
Right.
But, all my other friends lived so close to it. But we had a great time. And
nice.
I'm always glad to go back. And the other part I like about that when I go back, because I had a job for 25 years that had some profile.
Absolutely.
And so I go back, and a lot of people, because they know I'm from there, when they see me, I don't look out of place, right? I'm a fairly plain looking guy. Stuart Scott was uber famous, or Scott Van Pelt is 6'7" and bald and glasses, instantly recognizable. I'm one of those people that you walk by and they go, I think that might've been him, but it doesn't make sense.
No.
But when I go to Green Bay, Bay, they're like, yes, that makes sense that he would be walking down the street. And I always get the same thing. John. And then they never talk about sports. They go, I knew your dad.
That's cool.
Basement.
Yes.
Or I knew your mom from the bank. And,
that's the humanity. That's the humanity.
So that's always great that when I go back, people recognize me, but mostly it's because of other people in my family. And I'm the guy that actually probably is a miserable failure because I moved out of town.
Well, look,
I go to Green Bay. Everyone wants to go to Packer games. Like, hey, you really missed it. I'm like, well, I've been busy, but I can understand where you see that if I moved away, I probably wasn't as successful as I could have been.
Well, before I bring in Paul and Matt right now, and I'm going to about 10 seconds, I have to ask you a quick question. It's not about winning. So if you're away from home, I just thought of this question. If you're away from home, even if geographically speaking, you can't be there, do you still go there here and here?
Well, it never leaves your heart, right? That's part of it, right? That imprint's there. So there, and then it's a little like I kind of think of my schooling in Missouri. Like, I just find that some part of the day always I am either using something I learned here at the university,
right,
or something from my hometown, whether it's a lesson from my father, whether it's something that I did with my buddies that reminds me of that. So yeah, you're just always kind of, you're in there. And then the nice part about being from that town, Green Bay, is like you never have to tell people where it is. There are a lot of towns with 110,000 people.
This is true.
And so you go, I'm from, X Oklahoma.
And they go, oh, yeah.
That many. And they're like, oh, I don't know that. But you go to Green Bay, Wisconsin, and nobody ever has to ask where you're from. So that's always.
I love that sense of familiarity. That's really cool.
Kind of a nice deal. You don't have to go, well, you got to go here. Or they're like, what's the next town next to it that I might know?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, considering my dating history, that may not have been an advantage for me, but that's a different story altogether. But I like the familiarity. Guys and gals, Mr. John Anderson gracing us with his time as well. Second round of this tournament, of course, $15,000, 5-day trip to Greece. John, I got to ask you the question, I guess, officially here. Would you like to win it all, my friend?
I would like to win it all, but I think I could, the money always helps, especially because I got a kid that just graduated college. I hope he's not having to move back, but that way I could hey, son, we're okay there. And I have never been to Greece, although I get a lot of emails asking me to buy an island in and around there. So I figure, we could combine that with the cash and these offers I get from, hey, would you like to buy an island in and around Greece? Because apparently there's lots of them.
That's true.
Maybe I merge that, and I'm like, well, I don't know how much it takes, but I feel like I got a down payment for one.
I like that. I'll give you a little bit. So I've never been there. Real quick advice. I got this from Carl Reiner, who I wrote for before he passed. He loved going to Greece, but he said, if you don't pronounce tzatziki the right way in tzatziki sauce, they will lose their mind. That's a little advice for anybody who wins. Guys, Mr. Paul Mokeski, Mr. John Anderson, Mr. Matt Riddle, we're all here. Again, 2 out of 3 move on to round number 3. And the way it works in round number 3 starts in the fall. And it's a little bit tougher in round 3 because if the participants draw a 3-way matchup, 3 people, of course, only 1 out of 3, 33% move on to the 4th round. And if they draw a 4-way match, only 1 out of 4 advance. That's 25%. But now, safely in round 2, 2 out of 3 will move on. Thanks, guys, for voting. Your votes are a good thing. Unlike the real world out there, it means somebody resonated with you. So why not cast your vote? Let us know who you vote for and why. We're going to kick off topic number 1 with Mr. Matt Riddle. Everyone's got the same topic. Matt's going to get the first one. I'll introduce the topic to our viewers. This topic, guys and gals and pals, again, is something that you can play along with as well. I hope you do, as you do often in the comment section. I call this very topic, guys and gals, home sweet home. In this particular scenario, your home state is being put on trial by an advanced alien species. They've selected you, Matt, to defend your home state. They've asked you to go back in time and convince a deceased historical figure to travel to the year 2026 so that they can assist you in your presentation. When you're presenting, please bring up what makes your home state so very special to these aliens. Everyone's home is precious and valuable, but you've been tasked with educating these alien life forms about your home state and what makes it so special. Once you've made your case, please mention which deceased historical figure will be aiding you by presenting as well. Why did you select him and why, of course? Matt, take all the time you want in the world, my friend. The floor is yours whenever you're ready to go.
Well, this is a pretty intricate question, but my home state is Florida. I live, and I think Florida is quite a melting pot of people and culture. Also, you probably have heard of the Florida Man. Hopefully the aliens haven't heard, but it's a beautiful place, from the Everglades down to the beaches and everything else, and also the cultures that just mesh extremely well. Also, the wildlife is insane, with alligators and crocodiles coexisting. You got bull sharks that swim in freshwater and saltwater, and it's just invasive species like the boa constrictor and other things. It's just it's one of the craziest places to live. I think in modern society. And not only that, Sunshine State, you got hot springs and crazy water sources everywhere. And I didn't know this until recently. Lightning capital of the world. I could have sworn I saw more lightning somewhere else, but Florida is the lightning capital of the world. I don't know if aliens are interested in this, but they might be, so I'm mentioning it. Also, big name drop, NASA's here. So, that's kind of our space exploitation, or, doing our thing. And on top of that, not too long ago in Miami, there was actually multiple alien encounters where they actually shut down a mall. And there was blocks of police blocking it, U.S. military and other things. So I got a feeling, even before this, the aliens are very much interested in the state of Florida, if they're out there, which honestly there's a lot of evidence showing that there is. Now, my one man from the past, and I had to do some research for this, but his name is Ponce de Leon. He was a Spanish explorer, all right, and he discovered Florida. There was native people there, but I think he put the name on it and discovered it. Also, he was big into finding the Fountain of Youth, and the Fountain of Youth was said to be in Florida. And I think aliens, I don't know what kind of concoctions they have, but the Fountain of Youth, pretty big deal, and that was back in 1513. So that's who I would bring to the present to help plead our case, because I think he knows the importance. Plus, he discovered it, and all that good jazz. Plus, one thing that was very hard for me in this question was I don't know what these aliens want. I've heard a lot of rumors of what they might want. Maybe they want some natural resources. Maybe they just want nice beachfront property. I have no idea. But Florida has it all, and we would love to have you, all that good stuff. So that's my case for the aliens. Don't destroy us or do whatever you're going to do to us. And much respect,
I love that. It starts and ends with respect. That's really cool. And it's so interesting you brought up Ponce de Leon. Guys, I had no idea where you guys were going to go with these, but you brought up Ponce de Leon. And this is a man who knew how to present well because he had a feud with Christopher Columbus' son. I don't know if a lot of people know this or not, but he had a feud with him. And it was also about making a case for his territory. So what a great selection that is. You're taking someone who's had experience in these situations before. And Matt, speaking of making a case, a very quick question before I kick it over to Mr. Paul Mokeski and John Anderson. You had to make a case, I'm assuming, when you were young because your parents thought, hey, Matt's not going to do this. He's dainty. But, of course, once your mom saw you years later in your first fight and you broke a dude's I think you ripped his shoulder out of his socket in 45
Oh,
seconds.
yeah, that was my first amateur fight. I ripped a dude's shoulder out of socket. My first fight in the UFC, I broke a guy's jaw in 3 spots.
Wow.
But yeah, not so dainty.
No, not at all. Quite the opposite. Was that kind of a hard sell growing up and telling your parents, hey, I'm interested in this?
Hard sell my whole life.
Yeah,
they didn't let me play hockey. They didn't let me do anything. Anytime I got into like an altercation, they were just worried. And I'm like, guys, it took time. You don't start off as, being able to throw down, but eventually this is what you love to do, and you're gonna eventually get good at it and eventually get paid for it, And eventually my parents saw that. And when they first came to my first fight, they were very scared and worried. They're all holding hands. And then when I ripped that dude's shoulder out of socket with a key lock, yeah, they were like, all right. And then I crowed like, have you ever seen that movie Hook?
Yes.
I crowed like the Lost Boys. Which my opponent did not like. But
it's like a tale of two tapes. They went into the fight thinking they might have to hold your hand. Afterwards, they wanted to hold your opponent's hand because you ripped it off. So it's kind of an interesting turn over there, my friend. Incredible stuff there from Mr. Matt Riddle, who presented, gave us, of course, a great historical figure as well, as will, of course, Mr. Paul Mokeski and John Anderson. I'll kick it over to Paul. The same question. I'm not going to repeat the whole thing, although we have a lot of viewers coming in. Basically, guys and gals who are watching and listening, this topic is called Home Sweet Home. Of course, it's fun. Of course, it's out there, but why not stretch the old brain? So, Paul, again, you're going to have to pick a historical figure to help you convince an advanced alien species why your home state, why you're defending your home state. And, of course, you're bringing up what makes your home state very special. Your historical figure, who we won't see, of course, now, will be doing the same once you're done. Who have you selected and why? Be as in-depth as you'd like. And, again, what makes your home state very special, my friend? The floor is yours whenever you're ready to go, good sir.
Well, number one, I like what Matt said about the Fountain of Youth. I think that's really important. That would be interesting. But however, every picture or movie that I see of aliens, they seem to be tall like me. I'm 7 foot tall. So I'm deathly afraid of lightning hitting me because I'm taller than everybody around. So I think that's a downslide on aliens. But I picked Nevada. I've lived in 10 or 11 states, and I grew up in California, but I've been here in Nevada for the last 7 or 8 years. So I picked Nevada, and I picked Nevada for a couple situations. Number one, Nevada has everything. They have deserts, mountains, rivers, lakes. They just have Nevada has everything in it, and one of the most beautiful places that I've always said, if I had to live one place for the rest of my life, is in Nevada. It's called Lake Tahoe. And Lake Tahoe is one of the most beautiful lakes. It's over 2 million years old. It's 1,700 meters deep. The water's so clear that you can see 70 feet into the water. And it has mountains around it, so it might be 80 degrees when you're playing golf, and then there's still snow on the mountains around it. You can play. You got golf, tennis, hiking, fishing, skiing, water, and snow. And, it's just a wonderful place, and that's in Nevada. And then, of course, I'm in Las Vegas. So, most people think of Las Vegas as the neon city and lights and gambling, which it is. But also what comes with that is entertainment, movies, theaters, concerts. Everybody comes to play here in Las Vegas. You can see any concert from country western to rap and everything in between. Great restaurants, and then the surrounding cities are very, very family oriented. That's where we live, and it's a very unique place that you can go to a show on the Strip one time, and then you can go hike in the mountains right after that. So Nevada is just really a beautiful state. And really, let's talk about the future, right? So people came to Nevada. It's called the Silver State because people came to Nevada to mine silver. There are great silver mines here. But now it's changed to lithium. And for people who don't know what lithium is important. It's the only way it's is here in Nevada. So that's for the future of the society, whatever you want to do with it, Mr. Aliens or Mrs. Aliens. And the person up, Bugsy Siegel. And Bugsy Siegel was, a pretty bad guy. He was mafia and did things that probably killed tens of people, whatever. But you know what else he was? He was a visionary. I mean, who comes to a desert? There's nothing here. There's a couple cow towns and maybe some broken down casino. He comes here and visions in his head that this could be a big community. It could be what it is today. Lights and entertainment and people and families and all this. He saw this before anybody. I mean, I go out and take a ride about an hour outside of Vegas and there's nothing. And that's what he saw, but then he saw in his future what it could be and what it is now. So that's why I would pick Bugsy Siegel.
I didn't know where you were going to go with this. You're picking Bugsy Siegel. So in case your argument isn't persuasive enough to convince the aliens, all you got to do is bring Mr. Bugsy. Mr. Bugsy.
He took care of business, man. You didn't mess around in Vegas with Bugsy Siegel in charge.
Although his buddy Mayor Lansky got him killed. Yeah, I mean, could you think? I mean, think about that for a second. But you're right. No, Bugsy Siegel. It was a barren wasteland. Nobody really thought of putting casinos over there. And then his youth as well. What a youth in Brooklyn. The guy was actually responsible for saving the life of Lucky Luciano, Charles Luciano.
He pictured Vegas as he wanted to take Sunset Strip in LA and move it out to Vegas. That's what he pictured to begin with. And it's become so much more than that.
So you're saying by brute force, if necessary, a 7-for-1 Paul McKesky and Bugsy Siegel can really just push around the aliens if need be, right?
Absolutely. Or we can influence them, hey, you don't want to be out in the desert, do you?
I like that it starts with a hey. It starts with a hey. Yeah. That's the start with that. Mr. Paul McKesky, I love that. Again, really awesome response there as far as your historical figure, the great state of Nevada, which you know so well. And Mr. John Anderson, a man who in our first round with Mr. Buster Douglas, former heavyweight champion and Hall of Famer, John Anderson's home of his state, was able to shine through that particular episode. I cannot wait to ask John this question. Again, my friend, I'll speed through this. Home sweet home. Your home state's being put on trial by advanced alien species. They've selected you to defend your home state. They've asked you to go back in time and convince a deceased historical figure to travel back or travel forward to the year 2026 so they can assist you in your presentation. When you're presenting, please bring up what makes your home state so special. And guys and gals and pals, once he's finished, his deceased historical figure will be doing the same. My friend, whenever you're ready to go, the floor is yours.
Well, unfortunately, I don't have the muscle of Paul and Ben Siegel and Maya Lansky. So hopefully our people. And by the way, do I know what I'm on trial for? I can only assume maybe it's Senator Johnson right now, or former Governor Scott Walker, or I don't know, Joe McCarthy. I don't know what we've done wrong that we were put on trial.
McCarthy was from Wisconsin. We're still reeling from McCarthy.
Yeah, so I don't know if McCarthyism or what it was, how far back they're going and giving me trouble over our state. And though you touched on it, like I was born in Iowa, but I'm a Wisconsin guy through and through. So, well, first, like if I could convince them with my hometown, I'd just go, listen, Packers and toilet paper, we're in. Now, I don't know really how all the aliens operate, but it could be that. And then after that, I would just go, how about cheese and beer? Like I come almost like the Magi. I come with toilet paper, cheese, and beer. And I feel like that alone has gotten me off the hook with these guys. But it's kind of everything that Matt said. It's everything that Paul said. The difference about Paul, he talked about this sportsman's paradise, and you can have the snow, and we kind of have to do that by seasons. We can't all do that with like an hour drive or a 2-hour drive in an afternoon where you can take your pick. But we are a sportsman's paradise for hunters, fishers, skiers, anybody that wants to do that. We do have the 13-time world champion Green Bay Packers. I don't know that any alien that wouldn't sit down and go, yeah, football, this makes total sense. You don't have to explain that to me. I understand this oblong ball that sometimes we kick, sometimes we throw. You're keeping score. There are odd rules. I think they would love that. Again, beer and cheese can't be overestimated. Like, I think just here, stock up the old sled, whatever you came in. We can throw cranberries in there for you if you want to. That would be, take a cow and see what happens. There are all kinds of things. We've got the Great Lakes. I'm just assuming everywhere, since we search on every planet. When we go to Mars or the moon, all we're looking for is water. And we've got gobs of fresh water with the Great Lakes. So I feel like we're sustainable. It's just, without question, it's so much better than Florida, so much better than Nevada, because we have casino gambling now, right? We're up to date. You can go right across from the airport and do that. We have what you people have. Plus, we're agriculturally, we have everything that you really want to have. So that would be my sell. But if I was going to bring back a deceased figure that was going to put this thing over the top, originally, I think, well, you got to have Jean Nicolet, who landed in Red Banks in like 1634. He's not, but you guys know who I'm going to have.
Yeah, so
Vince Lombardi is going to come, and Vince Lombardi will convince you more than Bugsy Siegel or Ed Ponce de Leon that you want to come to Wisconsin, because he made people want to come to Wisconsin and see Lambeau Field, which is just 100 yards of grass like it is anywhere else, but somehow it's a mythical now trek. It's the frozen tundra. And so I don't know that I would be a great lead counsel in this thing, but I'd stand behind Vince Lombardi, and Vince Lombardi would, the aliens would probably just go, you know what, we're not even going back. We're just going to stay here. We're going to be in Wisconsin. And they would probably elect Vince Lombardi their new leader. That is my almost certainty of how that thing would go down.
What an
and they would freeze their butts off. They would freeze their butts off.
We got coats up here. We got coats. We got all kinds of stuff. We'll keep you warm.
John, if you caught one of my friends who's in this tournament, Dan Lauria, maybe if you advance, maybe you'll have a chance to talk to him about this. He actually portrayed Dan Lauria, who's best known for his role as the father of the Wonder Years.
Yes.
Did you see that on Broadway? Did you get a chance to see that play?
I did not, but I was there when it opened, and they were. I was there for a sports kind of award one time,
right?
And it was when they were putting it together. The money man that had come put some money behind it. You know, they also did Bird and Magic, right? I don't know that. But I have seen him do that with his. He's done that character, you know, or that
without question
with Vince Lombardi. And
you brought up Lombardi.
It's always kind of fun. I actually played for Lombardi.
Did you?
Yeah, I played freshman football at Vince Lombardi Junior High School, where I went. So technically, I played for Lombardi. Not like the other guy, but technically, I played for Lombardi.
Yeah, that's true. That is absolutely 100% true. Yeah. You bring up cows, you bring up beer, Lombardi. Hey, if all else fails, and maybe perhaps you're a bit nostalgic. Maybe you want to show them something from your childhood. There's Laverne and Shirley. There's always Laverne and Shirley as well, right?
You go down to the Schatz Brewery in Milwaukee if you want to see them. Yeah, or turn Ron Howard loose from Happy Days.
Yes,
we've got some spots in here that would be we've got people that could make the case beyond Vince Lombardi, but I just don't know that anybody do it more compelling. But maybe Cindy Williams and come on, give me a Penny Marshall could do it.
Penny Marshall, yeah, sure, passed away recently.
Yeah, they'd be freezing their butts off in January when I'm sitting in Vegas in my hot tub in January and it's 60 degrees. But hey,
but you just mentioned you might be the first person that can get struck by lightning because of your height. It starts with you and it goes down, doesn't it? Because if anyone gets hit by lightning of you three, Paul, it might be you first. Am I wrong?
That's why I'm not in Florida.
Right.
I hear that, guys.
Paul, I get that Paul can at least speak with some expertise to the area, right? You play in Milwaukee 6-7 years, and you play some winters, and the wind comes off the lake a little bit,
And that's one thing, John. But the strangest thing is, like in the summer, I lived on a golf course, close to the lake, not on the lake, and I'm playing like the 7th hole, and it's 85 degrees out, and the wind shifts off the lake, and by the time I get to the green, it's 40 freaking degrees. I'm like, what happened?
Well, you know what? I'll tell you what, guys and gals and pals. This was topic number 1. John, you brought something up really cool about again your passion for your home state. And again, if there's still something else that they might want to know about, maybe, just maybe, you could always bring up Sears, right? Your life was tethered to that brown brick building at the corner of Military and Mason. That means something to you as well. I think you shared that with us last time also. So how sentimental do you get when you make a pitch to these aliens? Do we try to not get sentimental with them? Do we feel as if they don't care about any of our sentiments? Do we just approach this in a very kind of linear fashion, or do we pour our heart out to them? I don't know. That's a question for anybody.
I'm going to go with Matt's emoji. Like, I don't know. We don't know what these people are like.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I don't even know what they look like.
I can't imagine they wouldn't like cheese. That's they might be like, honestly, if we come down and they might be a smarter race, I get it, a smarter culture. And if they are in fact lactose intolerant, then I'm out. Then I'm going to be done.
Yes.
But if they're not, then I'm going to win.
You got a good shot there. Yeah.
This is the NBA's new logo, this and that.
You set the shot clock?
But I'm going to say one word to the aliens.
Okay.
Lithium. It's the future.
Lithium. I got you. Matt, please.
Yeah, I'll say this. I've been to Wisconsin when I was a kid. I got frostbite on both my feet. I can't feel them really. Still to this day, I wrestle barefoot. It's one of the reasons why I wrestle barefoot and can fight. But and then Nevada, I've actually lived in Nevada for about 8 years when I fought in the UFC.
Right.
And I lived in Vegas. And like you said, they got the bright lights, but I lived out by the mountains, like on the edge, and I just loved rock climbing. And my girlfriend actually is from Reno, Nevada, and in Tahoe, Lake Tahoe is one of the craziest mysteries probably in the world, how deep and clean, and there's unexplored parts of just that lake because it's so deep and vast. So I would have to agree with you. Nevada and the lithium on top of it. I don't know what resources they're looking for. Maybe we can combine forces, Nevada and Florida, lithium and all the lightning and oranges I have. You know what I'm saying?
Vince Lombardi, you're going down, buddy.
Yeah, you started talking trash about us. So I had to team up.
Vince Lombardi's not going down.
Right.
Guys, I love your selections without question. Guys, I do want to say this as well. A very dear friend of mine who's no longer here, Mr. Bill Paxton. I have a special tribute for him in a few weeks. Some cool footage of myself and Bill, who I think would have loved this tournament, would have loved talking sports with Paul Mokeski, John Anderson, and Matt Riddle. And speaking of those who have departed, I'm going to keep everyone on screen just for about 60 seconds or so. We have one more topic, and that's it. What I want to do right now, though, before then is, speaking of Bill Paxton, there are also those who have been a part of this tournament who are no longer here, and I want to honor them right now. Trio of options for Gallagher, more underrated than why? Sauerkraut, Henry Kissinger's deep, soothing voice, or dogs wearing sweaters?
I like dogs wearing sweaters.
Did you have fun?
Yeah, I haven't done an interview in 20 years.
What a gentleman. Mr. Sizemore, first name Tom. How are you, my friend? I could turn the volume lower if you'd like next time. If you'd like me to do that, Tom, I could do that.
Wow, that was something else. I don't know what I can do now.
Oh, please.
That was terrific, man.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. And what, as charming as a guy that you are, man, and as honest as a guy as you are, and as down-to-earth as a guy as you are, you played a character that isn't so down-to-earth named Scrooge in college. You played Scrooge. And, of course, I feel like a thespian should rely on their instinct. Do you feel like you rely on your instinct a lot as a storyteller as well?
I mean, playing Scrooge at that young an age was, when I think about it now, only way I could have done it is I was relying on my instincts. You know, I could have done it the other way.
Okay. More underrated than why? Unicycles, Italian men named Skippy, or sophisticated dinosaurs?
What? More sophisticated dinosaurs?
Yeah,
I want to say the sentence. Italian man named Skippy. I just want to say.
Yes. Yeah. Italian man named Skippy.
I just want to say the sentence. Italian man named Skippy.
Something you'll never hear. Yeah. Did you have fun? Did you have a nice time?
I had a great time. It was Paul.
Yeah, man.
I want to do it again. This is great. I just think it's going to be, a lot of fun for people. I don't think people like this on the air. I don't think really. No, there isn't. I just think it's going to be I'm very interested in how people respond to it. Because I know it's going to be interesting and see if people tune in and stay tuned in, and I really hope they do. And I'm all yours, bro. Let's go out and make this work. All right. I'll talk to you soon. Okay. Bye.
I teach a workshop, and one of my students finally said about my class about iambic pentameter. He finally said, I got it. And he was excited. And it was both his elation and those 3 words that make it worthwhile, right?
Amen. You got it. But I think I've got to have equally passionate people involved in the production of it. That passion will override any reservations anybody has as to the show's potential for entertainment or education.
Did you feel as if transitioning to the stage and performing live theater was a natural fit for you?
Yes, I did. I always felt very comfortable on stage, more so on stage than I did in film or television. So I'm looking forward to you, Avi, giving me your thoughts and your input, because as I told you, that piece that you sent me is, I love good writing, and I think
Thank you, sir.
My career. And this is a beautiful piece of writing, as I said. I'm referring to the piece that you wrote me. You're onto something because you're a writer. You're a creative force, and I want to hook up.
Thank you so much for those kind words, guys. Thank you for being you, my friend. I appreciate you and respect you wholeheartedly.
And that goes double for me to you, Avi.
It's a rough Father's Day this past Sunday. Thinking about my dad, I think you guys would have definitely loved him because he was such a quiet, humble guy who taught me a lot. Probably the only guy here on this panel that would be dwarfed by Paul Mokeski. He was about 6'7", but not 7 feet tall. But loved you guys and loved watching you. But if there was, I don't know, I think he's watching the show right now with some of your family members and friends who are in heaven as well. If my dad could be watching the show with someone who's departed this earth, who would it be, Paul, of yours first? Anyone that comes to mind?
It would definitely be my dad.
Your dad?
His parents came over from on the boat from Poland, and he grew up in Detroit and Hamtramck, and played for Detroit University and then Gonzaga, and then went to the war and was in the Air Force, and he just loved sports. But I think, like your dad, he was a down-to-earth, no BS guy.
Yeah.
When I was being recruited in high school, there was no real rules, so coaches were at my house all the time. They lived in hotels down the road from my house. And one time, the University of San Francisco had signed Bill Cartwright, and they were pitching me to come there and be a forward, like, you don't have to play center anymore, which kind of intrigued me. And I pulled up from school, and there's a brand new car in my driveway. And then the coaches from San Francisco are walking out. They get in the car. They don't say anything to me. Usually they're hugging me and everything, and they just drive away. And I walk in and I go, Dad, what happened? He goes, those sons of bitches offered me a car if I had you sign with them. I told them to get out of my house and never come back, and you're not going there. So I think our dads would get along up there watching our show.
I concur, my friend. And it's so cool that you actually even visited Gonzaga, because your father, Casimir, graduated there, I think, in 1952. And when you visited the campus during the recruiting process in the mid-'70s, I think Dan Fitzgerald, it was his first stint as coach back then, right around that time. And you visited Gonzaga more for your dad than anything else, which is really cool, I think.
Yeah, I just felt that I owed that and wanted to see that. And you know what? If it was what it is now, I might have gone there, but it just wasn't at the time. So
yeah, I hear that. Mr. John Anderson, anyone if that's departed that maybe would hang out and watch the show with my pop, anyone you can think of?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. First, I'm trying to figure out how, if somebody offered you a car, that Ted Owens got you to Lawrence. But that's a whole,
Wait, time out. That's another story. But John, I want to tell this. Like, you're talking about Missouri and Kansas. So I went from California to Kansas. I didn't know what the hell. I'd never been out of my state. I don't know what.
Right.
And we played Missouri in the first couple months of the season or whatever. And there's an all-out brawl. I mean, players are fighting and punching and going into the stands. And Ted Owens hates Norm Stewart, and they're at half court trying to go to blows. And I'm a kid from California going, what did I get into? What the hell is going on?
And then when I my first job was in Tulsa, I spent many years, and he had switched and he went to Oral Roberts University for a time, and then he was coaching in high school. So I got to know Ted fairly well. And we were at a Final Four many years later. I had been at ESPN for 15, 18 years. And I went up and I asked the maitre d' or the host, it wasn't that fancy. I said, could you go tell that man over there that Kansas people can't come to the restaurant and see if you can get him thrown out just to see what he would do.
And so John, that was right. Was that right before you was there a station in Phoenix you went afterwards?
Yeah. So
okay, gotcha.
Phoenix. But so the guy goes up there and he played it up really great. And Ted is just flat, like, what do you mean I have to leave? And then he pointed at me and he's just like, you are. And Ted was nice. Like, he would not curse or flip you off or anything like that, like some people did. But he got the biggest kick out of it. We enjoyed a great back and forth with that. So I just
gotcha.
It's funny because those are
I'm going to share that story with them. We have an email chain with all the KU guys.
Yeah. That's about the time Anderson tried to throw him out. Get the host to throw him out of a restaurant in the Final Four.
Coach is still all there too. He is just sharp. He remembers, like, that's one thing about recruiting. He remembered your name, your sister's name, their birthday, your puppy's name. He remembered everything.
Yeah,
he will remember that story.
Well, we could actually tie this to the first topic. If all else fails, you bring a college recruiter to pitch your home state because they'll probably remember everything. Mr. Matt Riddle, same question.
But I would say this: my dad wouldn't, because he wasn't a big TV guy. But my grandmother would go watch TV with him. My grandmother would come.
Okay. That's pretty cool.
She'd come hang out. And then she'd say, that's my grandson on TV, by the way. She would be happy to say that.
We just had Joe Montaigne on. He said the coolest thing his mother said was after, he won a lot of awards and Emmys and Golden Globes and everything. So he won the Tony Awards, which of course is for work on stage and not film or television. And she, after 30 years in the business, she would brag to all of her friends, he won the Oscar for plays. And he's like, it was that innocence of not knowing what that was that kept she was so endearing to him because of that. She was so down to earth. Mr. Matt, anybody you can think of, my friend, from family?
I mean, probably quite a few, but I think probably my sister who passed away. She was a little younger than me, and I used to give her a hard time. She'd give me a hard time, but at the same time, she was really supportive, and I loved her, and she was young, and I think if she's there, she's probably keeping tabs, and she'd like to watch this. So,
that's beautiful, man. God rest her soul, man. I know she's proud of you, man. There's no doubt that your family they're proud of you guys. Really, I always say this. I think that there's one thing to talk about a person's resume, and that's interesting for about half an hour and 40 minutes. Your accomplishments are great, but then when you realize the human being that put forth the effort to help that resume grow, that's the real story, your humanity. So I appreciate you guys for being who you are. Right now, our final topic, but as we always do, a very quick game. This is called I'd Pay. I'd Pay is a fun game that we've been doing. So our sponsor loves this. And speaking of them, guys and gals and pals, if you right now in the summer are wondering why I'm plugging soup, it's because they're our sponsor, number one. But number two, they're oh so delicious. Chicken noodle soup. As you can see, I've got a 4-pack over here for Paul, myself, John, and Matt. I don't know who's going to... Well, you know what? They get more autographs than I do, obviously, for their line of work. So while they're signing your autograph, I might steal the whole bundle and run. But guys, Progresso Soup, definitely a great national sponsor. We implore you guys to buy as much as you can and donate them. There are plenty of soup kitchens. Please take the time to help those less fortunate. They're out there. They are in need of anything. And stop and have a conversation with them. Have a conversation with them. It's going to make you feel good about yourself, but more importantly, it's going to remind you that anything can happen to all of us at any given time. So please appreciate the people around you, regardless of their economic status. We're all in this thing together. Guys, I'd Pay. We're all in this thing together as well with this game I'd Pay. I'm going to offer a bevy of options, a trio of really silly topics, guys. You're going to have to pick one out of those three that you would pay for and let us know why. Of course, guys and gals and pals, you can play along as well. John Anderson, Paul Mokeski, and Matt Riddle. We'll start with Mr. Matt Riddle for this game. The same options for everybody. This is I'd pay. What would you pay for to see and why of the following, Mr. Matt Riddle? Rocky Balboa as a neurosurgeon, Seinfeld as a correctional officer, or Rambo as a talk show host?
Rambo as a talk show host.
Oh, yeah.
That would be weird to watch, and I think it would be highly entertaining. Especially this first Rambo. I felt like as the movies went on, he got a little more vocal. He started hooking up with some chicks, in the bush. He was blossoming as a flower. But I think if we get Rambo 1, and he's a talk show host, very intense moments between guests, and I think it'd be highly entertaining for me. That's kind of my humor to see awkward situations play out. So that's the one for me. Rambo as a talk show host.
Wow! Don't book David Caruso on that show, guys. He was in obviously First Blood. Guys and gals and pals, this is the same question for Mr. Paul Mokeski, and then of course Mr. John Anderson. Again, we're gonna have a lot of fun with this topic. Who would you pay for to see and why of the following, Mr. Paul Mokeski? Rocky Balboa as a neurosurgeon, Seinfeld as a correctional officer, or Rambo as a talk show host?
What was the Seinfeld one?
Correctional officer.
Yeah, I kind of picked that one because, he'd be a corrections officer and talking about, what about you this and why did you do that?
Why do they call them bars? They don't rhyme. Yeah.
And then he would, instead of talking about them, he would talk about himself. And I did this and I did that. So I think that would be interesting because he would do nothing about whoever he's talking to. It'd always come back to himself.
So you would pay to see, in this case, Seinfeld, the short-term correctional officer who's not going to last a day. Oh, I see what you mean. He's not going to last.
He's not helping. He's not helping nobody.
No, not at all. Mr. John Anderson, Rocky Balboa is a neurosurgeon, Seinfeld is a correctional officer, or Rambo the talk show host?
Yeah, I'm with Paul. I do think wouldn't be very long with Seinfeld's a correctional. Like somebody just shank him. He tried to be funny and they're just like out. Right? It'd be like we're hardened criminals. We don't need your observation in life on candy bars.
Hey, what if
just got him?
Why did you make that shank with that type of thing?
Exactly. Isn't it funny when you get a shank? I mean, it's just a knife. I don't understand why they got to sharpen it.
Why they got to call it a shank?
Yeah, I would like to see because I have a weird fascination of watching some talk shows, whether it was like Dennis Miller, who I was very good, or I suffered through some in some of the Magic Hour, which I don't know if that was terrific.
Magic Johnson.
And so I think I'd like to see Rambo just because I don't know, like. Who would he book for guests? That would be fun. Yeah. What if he stole bits, right? Like, could he be part of the Mighty Carson Art Players, or would he have a top 10 list? I just think that would be, and then just the dialogue of what actually would it be grunts? Would it be
nonverbals?
I do think that would be really awesome. And if he could get some of his adversaries on, but most of those people are dead.
They're gone.
He could get the Naked Survivor show people, whatever those guys are.
Maybe he might book Rocky Balboa, the neurosurgeon. And guys, if anyone picked Rocky Balboa, would we agree that this is the one time Rocky would not need Mickey in his corner while he's operating on somebody as a neurosurgeon? We don't need Mickey going, actually this time it wouldn't be cut me, it'd be cut somebody else, right?
Yeah, you would. I think you need a guy. You got to have a pump up man, even in that thing. I don't know. I think you
cut him, Rocky.
Cut him, Rocky. Cut him.
I gotta concentrate on this one. Guys, that was our first I'd pay selections. Just a couple of more, and then we finish up with topic number 2. Let me rotate this thing out back to Mr. Matt Riddle on this one. What would you pay for to see and why of the following? Hannibal Lecter is a regular cast member of Beverly Hills 90210. Big Bird is a bounty hunter, or Conan the Librarian?
Definitely Big Bird as a bounty hunter. I would just like to see Big Bird get into tight situations, Maybe a guy's locked in his house with the windows open. Big Bird goes in head first, I mean, Big Bird, also I was a big Sesame Street guy when I was a kid, support the PBS, So Big Bird as a bounty hunter. Also, I think that might be a good way to teach kids between right and wrong, right?
Yes.
When you got intimidating cops, sometimes that's not the most, friendly thing you want to see or a kid. But if you saw Big Bird dropping the hammer,
That's
you know?
true. Like, I don't know if as a 7-year-old, I relate to like Dan O'Malley with a handlebar mustache trying to tell me to obey.
Even when my kids saw Dog the Bounty Hunter, it's like,
Oh, yeah.
hey, Dad, is that guy in the right? And I'm like, honestly, I don't know. He
I
looks
wouldn't
like
wanna be
he should
wrong.
get arrested a
Yeah.
little bit. Big Bird's a safe bet.
I like that. And Matt, also, a lot of people don't know this. Big Bird ran the streets of Sesame.
He sure did. Well, he was the Big Bird.
That's very true. Very true.
With
Mr.
Bugsy Siegel. With Bugsy Siegel.
But that would be quite the combo. Mr. Paul Mokeski, the same options for you, my friend. Who would you pay for to see and why? Of the following, Hannibal Lecter is a regular cast member of 90210. Big Bird is a bounty hunter, or Conan the librarian.
It's got to be Big Bird. I mean, I could.
Big Bird.
Oh, he's like searching for somebody, but don't look at me. I'm just a 9-foot yellow bird. I'm not anywhere here looking for you. You can't hide from me. And then I agree with Matt. Then you could tell your kids, listen, if you do something bad, that Big Bird guy is going to come down and put the hammer on you. You don't want that.
No, I agree with you. Plus his buddies, Oscar the Grouch. Like, I don't want to even mess with his buddies. Mr. John Anderson, the same true options for you, my friend. Hannibal Lecter is a regular cast member of 90210. Big Bird is a bounty hunter, or Conan the librarian.
So I like the idea of Big Bird. That I get that. Like I can see that.
Sure.
And he does, much like some of the other bounty hunters that were mentioned. Like he at least looks like maybe truth, justice. He's here to help. Plus, he tastes like chicken, so that's probably good. But I think I'm going to go with the librarian.
Conan,
Just because, one, I'm big on books, but I literally was talking to a student here the other day, and they had just finished their degree. They've been out of school a month with their journalism degree.
Sure.
And they're like, okay, I'm still looking for a job, and I'm kind of working part-time here in the industry. I like it, but I'm not quite there yet. And some pharmaceutical job came up. And all their business friends are like, well, of course, go take the money. You got to do that right away. Take the money. I'm like, you've been out 4 weeks. Like, you're going to give up on your dream of what you want to do after 4 years. Go ask your friends in the business, because they're, go ask them if they had their choice right now, if they really wanted to be business majors, and they're 4 weeks in and they're working part-time as a bank teller, but they could make a bunch of money at a library if they go be a librarian. Right? Turn the question on, because it's easy. Yeah, these people are in finance. Great. You're running off a hedge fund. It's easy. Yeah, let's go make money. I just want to know if they want to be a librarian. So I would like to know under what circumstance led them to this position.
Right. Sure.
And then I want it old school. I don't want if you're going to be a librarian, I don't want the checkout with the scanner. I want you still.
I'm not a fan of that. Yeah.
You gotta have the plunger.
The plunger.
Yeah. And then I want to see that bastard like picking up nickels for people that return late. I just think there's a lot of potential for good comedy there.
And I also think if anyone we brought up Seinfeld earlier, if you're going to watch an episode, please watch the one called Mr. Bookman, the very serious librarian who takes his job seriously. I could see Conan doing the same thing, though, as well. Yeah. Grape Wrath was due 2 weeks ago, and then all of a sudden, that library would never have any missing books whatsoever. There's
right? You're like 35 cents, you're overdue, and he pulls out a giant sword.
Yeah.
It seems like that might be a bit much for a 35-cent fine, but you'd get results.
You'd get results, Matt.
I was way off. I thought you meant Conan O'Brien, the librarian.
It could be.
That's all. You guys are talking about swords. I'm like, wait a second. All right. That's it.
Well, if you have Conan O'Brien,
still would have picked Big Bird, but that one got me. All right.
Conan O'Brien, you'll never get a chance to read the book. The guy will just keep talking the whole time. You never get a chance to actually devour it. Guys and gals and pals, of course, I guess one more with Paul Mokeski. Did I give you this one, my friend? I don't think I gave you this one yet. Who would you pick and why? Hannibal Lecter is a regular cast member of 9. Did you pick this one, Paul? Did I go to you?
I don't know.
Conan
the second guy.
Yeah, I think, Paul, I'm going to go to you right now, Nat. Hannibal Lecter is a regular cast member of 90210, Big Bird the Bounty Hunter, or Conan the Librarian?
No, I already talked about Big Bird. He's my guy.
You talked about Big Bird. I thought you did, because you illustrated that scenario really well. Guys, our last one over here, and then we go to topic number 2. Mr. Matt Riddle, the following, which would you pay for to see and why if you had to? Darth Vader is a wedding planner, Godzilla is a massage therapist, or Freddy Krueger the personal trainer?
Ooh. You know what would actually be best? Godzilla's a massage therapist. That just doesn't work. You're going to crush somebody, right?
He'd hit everything, though. He'd hit everything. Yeah.
What was the Freddy Krueger as a personal trainer?
Yeah.
Dude, when I don't want to get up in the morning and I should probably go run a couple miles or lift some weights, if Krueger woke you up, that's kind of like the best training you can get. You know?
That's true. No wrist curls, though, right? No wrist curls.
Yeah. No wrist curls. I mean,
Plausible.
I think he's more of a spotter. You know,
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to demonstrate the techniques for you. I think he's more of a motivational personal trainer. You know,
I
which
like the way you're
honestly,
going.
for me, I know what I have to do. It's just a matter of going out and doing it. You know, I'm just, once you've done it for a while, you're kind of just chilling. But I think if Freddy Krueger was in my life, I might pick up the pace and pick up the slack. You know what I'm saying?
None of us would want to sleep, right? We'd get up early in the morning because we'd be afraid that he'd be entering our psyche.
I mean, technically, if he's your personal trainer, he'd want you to get some sleep, but he'd also want you to get to your workouts and not take naps during the day, etc.
This is great. This is great stuff. And guys, for those, John brought up journalism degrees. We have a lot of people in the comment section who are aspiring writers. Yes, you too one day can get paid to do this, to think of things like this at night like I do. Guys, we're going to ask Mr. John Anderson the same question. What would you pay for to see and why of the following if you had to? Darth Vader as a wedding planner, Godzilla as a massage therapist, or Freddy Krueger as a personal trainer?
I want to go with Darth Vader because I just I want one of these bridezillas to get with him and see how that works. Or some mother-in-law that's out of hand.
Yes.
Yes.
You are not my daughter.
That's very good, actually.
Daughter.
That's pretty good.
Smooth.
Yeah. And then, like, I would hate to be the caterer or something. Like, if you don't have enough fish tacos or anything that'll piss off Darth Vader would kind of suck.
Yeah, I think that would just be great. Yeah.
I dig that a lot. Paul, do you concur? Do you have a new one? Darth Vader, the wedding planner, Godzilla's a massage therapist, or Freddy Krueger, the personal trainer?
I love Darth Vader because I always wanted to be him at Halloween, because I could fit in that whole outfit. But I got to go with Freddy Krueger because you get more for the bang for your buck, right? So you go and he trains you for an hour, and then you go home and go to sleep for 8 hours, and he's still in your head training you. So you get stronger. You got to push yourself. So you pay for 1 hour and you get 9 hours of.
You'll be dead, but that's.
Yeah, you could be dead.
There's that. Yeah, I like that. This is really good stuff, guys. We're gonna move on to topic number 2. Of course, honorable mentions that our fans could play in the comment section alone due to time constraints. We won't hit these, but maybe next time. Alf, attorney at law. Papa Smurf, the hip hop artist. Mr. Bean, the motivational speaker. Beetlejuice, the runway model. Cast of Goodfellas, the studio audience members on Jerry Springer. Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th as this ice skater. Archie Bunker, the mountain climber. Ralph Cramden, the yoga instructor. Or Don Corleone, the computer repair person. Guys, play along as well if you'd like. And right now, we are about to hit topic number 2. We'll rotate things out, and John Anderson will start with topic 2 first. I'm going to read out the topic. It's called A Song for the Ages. You've been asked to travel back in time to visit a historical figure that's on their deathbed. They haven't experienced the bliss that we experience through music. Sometimes a song can be a catalyst for a soulful ride that can offer tremendous mind-changing experiences. And maybe, just maybe, the song that you select can help a fellow human being transition peacefully to the other side. John, my friend, if you could select one song to play for a particular historical figure on their deathbed, which song would it be and why? And which historical figure on their deathbed have you selected and why? My friend, the floor is yours whenever you're ready to go, good sir.
Yeah, so this one, when it was sent to me, I'm like, okay, I read this as sort of modeling, right? Like, who am I help transitioning? They've had some tough times, and we're going to let them know it's okay. And so I'm thinking of ballads. I'm thinking of sad songs that just would be heart-wrenching and moving. And I'm like, I realized I got it all wrong. Like it's the trite way to look at things. And so I'm thinking, what would be better? Well, how do we mix things? Sort of like Don Corleone, the computer repairman. How do I mix things up? And I'm out and I'm still trying to unpack my garage, and I'm taking books out because I've got too many of them. And I've got this a philosophy book that I've got. And I realized what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Socrates, okay? And then I'm going to introduce him to Shout by Otis Day and the Knights, okay? Because this guy's he's Animal House. He's already in a toga. He's a moral philosopher. He is a guy that is getting tried for impiety and corrupting the youth of America and desecrating and mocking current thought. And I'm like, he's got Dean Wormer and Niedermeyer, and he's got Marmalade all over him. He's got these guys in here. And so, like, let's just throw the ultimate toga party for this guy. He's probably heard nothing but dirges in his life. And he's going to hear Otis Day in the Night, and they're going to yell Shout. And he's just, before he drinks the hemlock, he is going out in just the best way possible. for this guy. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to find Socrates. I'm like, dude, we lost the trial. I get it. It's tough. But we're going to listen to this, and you're going to drink the hemlock and go into the afterlife, and you are going to feel great about it and know that you've inspired literally centuries of big thinkers, everywhere from Nietzsche to literally Blutarsky. And so that's my guy, and that's what he's going to hear. Shout.
I think that's incredible. That's really impressive that you brought that up too, because what was music when it wasn't? What was music when it wasn't? Was music something we always had here? Was there a point of reference? Did we have music during the days of Socrates? I mean, to some extent we did, but God Almighty, nothing like what John Anderson selected right there. That's incredible, and I love the way you went. And guys and gals and pals, please again feel free to play along. We love how positive you are, and we love your responses. We love your comments. We love your scenarios. So please keep them coming. I'll ask Matt Riddle the same question next. And then, of course, we'll finish out with Mr. Paul Mokeski. I'll set this question up again. You've been asked to travel back in time to visit a historical figure that's on their deathbed. They haven't experienced the bliss that we experience through music. Maybe the song you select can help a fellow human transition peacefully to the other side. So if you could select one song to play for a particular historical figure on their deathbed, which song would it be and why, Matt? And which historical figure on their deathbed have you selected and why? Whenever you're ready, the floor is yours, good sir.
I would have to say, What a Wonderful World by Louis Armstrong. And I would say for the member of the past, I would pick Abraham Lincoln, just because he did so much for the movement, for civil rights, and for him to see somebody or hear somebody perform something so beautiful and so meaningful, especially on his deathbed, to know that he had a huge part in making this even a possibility in what he did and what he fought for. And I think that would, especially the way he was taken out, being shot in the back of the head. And now in this scenario, you'd have enough time to make it, and then we could play the song. But I think, I know if it was me, and a lot of time I try to think about other people's perspective, but also putting myself in this situation. And I think if I was in this situation and somebody came back and played that song and told me this is possible because of what you've done for so many people, and even though you basically sacrificed your life, your time, and everything, you made this possible, and you've made so many other people successful, happy, and just started a movement and transition in humanity, So I think that's a big thing. Also, Abraham Lincoln, one hell of a wrestler, just like myself. So I had to give the shout out to my man, Abe.
He was a great grappler, yeah. And I love that you picked that too, because the song's history is intertwined with the experience of its creators. Of course, we associate that with the Wizard of Oz.
Yes.
Think about it, like its theme of hope and escapism and longing is something that really would have probably spoken to Abraham Lincoln during that time. We always associate the Civil War with Lincoln, and during that particular time, and of course, even up to the time where he watched that play his my American Cousin. And what is so special about our American cousins? Usually, they kind of. What is it about our cousins? They kind of mooch off us a lot, right? What is it? What's so special about our American cousins, Paul?
I don't know, man. They're mooching off you? Come on, man.
I mean, we have a lot of cousins. I don't mind the cousins who are actually cousins, but not the ones who aren't cousins who say they are. There's a lot of those out there. They see you doing well. You guys should know this. You're successful. Haven't you ever had people sometimes come out of the woodworks going, I'm your fourth cousins because I'm related to your dog's mom's best friend's neighbor or something?
Negative. No, where I'm from, cousins are real cousins. There, that's it. And honestly, they usually keep their distance. They got their own thing going on.
Okay.
I do have a couple cousins, but most of them have families now, full-time jobs, teaching, landscaping, whatever they're doing. They're on the grind, hustling, providing for their families and stuff like that. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, but I think that was really cool that you picked that. Again, can we be united? And you think of what the rainbow represents, and of course, during that time, a lot of people thought that it was far-fetched for us to be a United States, and maybe it's far-fetched in 2025, which sucks that it's still an issue. But God Almighty, I love the association you made there. And guys and gals and pals, please, Matt, please, yes.
Fun fact: I actually went to the log cabin Abraham Lincoln was raised in and grew up in.
Wow!
And when we got there,
Yeah.
The end of the rainbow we saw that day was right at the house.
That
You know,
is
you normally don't
incredible.
see it. It like
Yeah.
when we were driving, it ended there. And as we got there, it dissipated, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it led to Abe's house. Maybe this is one of those moments in time. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
my God, that's a cool story, man. Wow, I would
I
totally.
did a story.
Yeah.
I did a story when I worked in Tulsa, Oklahoma,
Okay.
on President's Day, which was sort of founded mostly over Washington and Lincoln. And I went over to the National Wrestling Museum Hall of Fame in Stillwater, Oklahoma, and they have an exhibit of those two guys, the wrestling presidents,
That's
and then
so
Teddy
cool.
Roosevelt. And everything. But the presidents of the United States have a great wrestling history, and they are recognized at the wrestling
That is
world,
so
the Wrestling Hall of Fame in Stillwater, Oklahoma.
To be
Is that
fair,
the
Donald
George?
Trump did do WWE. he has taken a Stone Cold Stunner, so.
Was that Matt? Is that the George or John? The George Tragos Hall of Fame, I think it's called. The Luthez George. I'm not sure. I think it might be.
It's
Yeah.
the
Dan
international.
Gable?
It might even, I don't know if it's the international but there's a lot of international stuff because guys that were these are either guys that were literally Greco-Roman or freestyle wrestlers. But there's a bunch of those guys, especially when you look at it. Like when I was in school, oddly enough, there's this guy had just come out of the service.
Sure.
And they're like, he's going to be really good. He'll be better as a Greco-Roman wrestler, but here in college, he's a freestyle wrestler. He's very good. And his name was Randy Couture. And you're like,
yes.
Who knew that? Or Daniel Cormier is an Oklahoma State wrestling guy. So there's a bunch of those guys that have gone on, whether it was MMA or to the WWE. I just went to this track meet, and the young woman who won the shot put was Brock Lesnar's daughter.
Yes, she's doing great. She's doing great.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like that. Wrestling I have found is not a whole Kevin Bacon. It's a more of 3 degrees, and you can get to a lot of wrestlers. You don't need all 6, and you can find kind of a neat web of those guys.
Great way of putting that. Yeah, no, there's no doubt. And you mentioned Randy Couture. He's part of the TKN Celebrity Tournament. Randy, this is sort of the 11th hour of round 2. Round 3 is going to start soon. Randy's name is yet to be called. He wants to face Jesse Ventura in this tournament, who's one of the favorites to win the whole thing. And I got to tell you something. That's going to be one heck of a conversation between those two who love U.S. history. That's probably be the topic there. Guys and gals and pals, Mr. Matt Riddle, Mr. John Anderson. We're definitely going to see Mr. Matt Riddle in many halls of fame when it comes to pro wrestling. There's no doubt about that. His best is still yet to come, and already he's wowed us. And Mr. Paul Mokeski, your humility and your kindness. And I'm saying this because we're wrapping up. I want you to know, man, you really you resonate with a lot of people because you take what you did seriously, but you don't lead with ego. There's no ego at all. And I love how you're able to describe your career, the highs, the lows, the in-betweens. That's so relatable to everybody because that's us in a nutshell. Our highs and lows and in-between sum up our lives. And John, again, you take me as a guy that doesn't like compliments. I know you don't, but I meant what I said during the pre-intro of the intro. You really have inspired me with your words and your respect for the language and respect for the people you work with. The first thing, and I almost saw this happening when we put the video together and I decided to use Stuart Scott as the narrator. I knew the first thing you were going to bring up was Stuart Scott because you always give it back to others. I knew that was the first place you were going to go and you went there. I think that's really cool how much you respect other people, those you worked with and even those you haven't. This is Mr. Paul Mokeski right now with our final topic, and then we are out of here, and you guys will vote. Top 2 vote getters move on to round number 3, which begins in the fall. Paul, final topic. You've been asked to travel back in time to visit a historical figure that's on their deathbed. They haven't experienced the bliss that we experience through music. Right now, my friend, if you can pick a song that would help them transition peacefully, what would it be and why? And which historical figure on their deathbed would you select and why to assist in this time of need? Whenever you're ready, the floor is yours, good sir.
Well, I'm going to keep it on the sentimental side. I thought about this for a little bit, and the person I'm going back to help, transfer over or just talk to is Dr. James Naismith. And the reason I'm doing that is, he went to Kansas. He was the first Kansas basketball coach, but he invented the game of basketball that changed my life. I mean, I was an insecure, tall, geeky guy that felt really not belonging outside, in parties or whatever, but on the court playing basketball, that was my home. That's where I felt comfortable. That's where I felt proud of myself. And he created that game. And, the game has taken me to 42 countries and all over the world to share that love of the game that I've always had. And it's not only affected people that played it, people that announced it, fans, just millions and millions of people that the game of basketball has affected. And when you play it or watch it, it teaches you how to succeed, how to fail, how to get back up when you're knocked back down. And, just like most sports, it teaches you about life, even when you're not thinking you're learning about life. And that's what it did to me. And the song I picked for that, I kind of racked my brain a little bit and I was thinking Stairway to Heaven and stuff like that. But I went with Arms Wide Open by Creed. And the reason I picked that is it's a song about a father welcoming his son into the world and into his life. And after this Father's Day, it's tough for, my father's not here anymore, but we have two sons that I got to share it with. And it just really meant a lot to me. And one of the verses that stood out, it goes, with arms wide open, under the sunlight, welcome to this place. I'll show you everything. And what that really said to me, I don't know if I read it in a book or someone told me, but they depicted heaven as when you go up to heaven, you stand before your creator, and there's a line of people waiting to talk to you and tell you how you changed and helped their lives. And how long that line is how much impact you had on people's lives while you're on the earth. And I don't know how long my line is going to be, but I know how long Dr. James Naismith's line is going to be. It's going to be millions and millions of people that are continuing, and it will be endless. And that really stuck out to me that, James Naismith created a game because some kids were getting antsy in the gym and they couldn't go outside to play anything. So that and how he changed my life, and that song really stood out to me.
1891 fellow Canadian who did so much for the game, invented a game, which is absolutely incredible. We forget that sometimes. How young the sport is. Paul?
You know what else he did a little, what else he invented? The football helmet. He invented the football
I didn't know that.
Because back when he invented the game, their players were called cagers because they played in a game in the cage and pretty much could do whatever the hell they wanted. It was almost like WWE or whatever. You could just do whatever, and they had to put some rules in. And I've seen the official rules that were written down, and I've seen them in person.
And they were still when they were barnstorming, there were still those cages like the early New York Renaissance teams and the original Celtics. Great stuff here, guys. As we depart, anything you guys would want to tell each other on screen? What I'm going to do is this. Once you do that, I'm going to have John maybe just give a quick 30-second solo layout to give any words of inspiration to our viewers, and then of course Matt, and then Paul. But before I do that, anything you guys want to tell each other?
So I will tell you this, Paul. This is the reason I chuckled at Naismith is one, because having lived in Connecticut forever, and the Basketball Hall of Fame was 45 minutes from the house to go up and drive there, which was really amazing. Where you see the rules, and it's the fight over the rules and where they belong was crazy to read through that thing. But the reason I chuckle is because he is the answer to my favorite trivia question. Right? Yes, there's a rivalry between Missouri and Kansas, but KU is undeniably one of the great programs in history. The success of the program cannot be argued with the national champions. They have one coach in their entire history, and they've only had about 9 or 10, which is amazing. Dr. Naismith, and then you had Fogg and
Allen.
All these guys. Bill Self's been there 20 years now. Everybody. There's only one guy in the history of that university with a losing record. And it's Dr. James Naismith. Like the one guy who invented the game has a losing record, the one school that has the best record ever. So it's an amazing trivia question because people are like, I don't know.
That's like the guy who invented podcasting who ends up sucking at podcasting.
Yeah, he invented it, right? It's never know. It's like Tesla sticking his finger in a light socket and dying, right?
Hey, let me ask you though: are we supposed to be bad at what we invent because people are supposed to get better than us? I mean,
anyway, I just think
that's a good observation. That's a good observation.
I just think that's one of the most amazing things ever.
Yeah,
and so it's been great to be on, Matt. It's nice to meet you. Paul, I have followed your career, and I'm 60, so I'm not trying to date anybody. But when I grew up and Nelly came to town, and those guys, whether it was you or Sigma or Winters or you talked about filling Bob Lanier's shoes, which is really hard because he had like a size 22 shoe.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Sidney Moncrief, Paul Pressey, those guys were
Sean Lucas.
Guys. Those teams were my youth. And I was in when the Bucks won the championship with Giannis 3 years ago. I was actually, because it got pushed back, I was at the Olympics in Tokyo in 21, and I didn't get to go. But I'm really happy for those guys. But if I made a list of all-time top 10 Bucks, I'm not sure Giannis would be on. He would be on as sort of a great player. But in my favorite Bucks, I don't know if he'd make a top 10. Like, I'd still like Johnny McLaughlin, and I'd still like Bobby Dandridge, and I'd still like Dunleavy was great. I mean, you play with all these cats, you know that. Terry Cummings, Marcus.
Who is number one? Is Kareem number one for you?
Yeah, but Kareem left before when I was a kid. Kareem was tiny. I was really young when Kareem left, so I knew all the guys that got in that trade, which was Winters, Dave Myers, Junior Bridgman, and I forget who the other guy was right offhand. But it was actually usually you trade a superstar and you get pieces that it just never works.
Sure.
The guys the Bucks got back were the spine of a team that was really good for a decade, right, Paul? Like those guys were great.
Yeah. I mean, if you look up, people don't believe me. I'll tell them. We, in the 80s, when the Lakers, the Celtics, Philadelphia were all winning championships, for the total of the 80s, we had a better winning record than any of those teams. Yeah. We just didn't get to the finals. We'd beat Philly and lose to Boston. We'd beat Boston and lose to Philly.
There was that 83 sweep of Boston where you guys swept Boston in 83. And everyone thought that would maybe be but of course Philadelphia, that was the faux season where Moses.
But it was full 5-4 because we beat them one time.
You're the team that beat them once.
We're the team that beat them, but
in the conference finals.
Yeah, but that's why when I talked about Dr. Naismith and my change of life and stuff, basketball. I had a great 12-year career. I was, I wasn't a superstar, but I loved it. But it taught me so much. It just taught me so much, and it taught me that. You know what? Even though, I've been close to when I was with the Dallas Mavericks, we were up 2-0 in the finals against Miami, and we lost the damn finals. I don't have a ring, but and I would put in those other ones, John. I would put Oscar Robertson too.
Yep, the Big O when he came, but see, he was on that championship team, and then a year after, and they won in what 71. 71. So I was 6. 71. So it's not the same as all the that went through and
Oscar was kind of at the tail end of his career at that point too.
Yeah, when he went over, but their guy, Paul was there. We had a generation of really big, tall, white centers. You're right, Randy Brewer. We drafted Randy Brewer.
Jack Sikma.
Did you play with Kristoviak?
Yes, I did, Larry. Yeah.
Did you have Fred Roberts, Frank Bukowski, Brad Lohaus?
Love the low bird.
He was there. Randy Brewer that you brought up. I actually said this to him and he laughed once because we get along pretty well. I told Ernie Johnson that Randy Brewer looked like a big version of Ernie Johnson. That was like a 7'3" version of Ernie. But you're right. There were so many big guys over there. We got to mention Paul Pressey. He was a great player out there in Milwaukee.
You mentioned Paul. Yeah, he was great. He could play, And Nelly, it's funny, right? Because many of the games it is now, you didn't shoot with the 3 as liberally as they do now. But a lot of the game very much looks like what Don Nelson did with you guys decades ago. Point forwards and running it through everybody. And it's okay that
even had Manute Bol chucking up 3s for Nelson.
Well,
he was shooting great.
Yeah, even back then, when Jack and I played, Sikma and I played, we, along with Lambier, led the league in 3-point shooting for about the first couple months because before that, no bigs were supposed to shoot 3s. Now they all shoot 3s.
But Paul, you did everything. I gotta say, you did everything so well. Everything you did well, and I think that's one of the things that I've always heard about your game is you complimented everybody. You had a read of the game as soon as you came on the court. You knew what was happening, what was going on. Guys, I'm gonna give John a solo, and then Mr. Matt Riddle, Mr. Paul Mokeski a solo as well. It'll take about 30 seconds, guys. Don't go anywhere. Anything you want to tell your fans and stuff you have coming down the pike. We're about 4 million strong, so let anyone know what you have coming down, and I will mention that even when you're not on this show in future weeks to come. Guys, Paul Mokeski and Matt, I'm going to bring them right back. John, anything you'd like to tell our audience? The floor is yours. Words of inspiration, anything.
Boy, I don't know if I have any great words of inspiration. Although I do love words, and I'm telling people, I will get in my. These aren't words of inspiration, but these are things that will differentiate. People will know you're smart. Okay, farther is distance. Further is to delve is to delve deeper into something. Don't ever mistake those two. I keep watching this. I was just at track meets. People misuse farther and further. This is my current rant. This is the current thing that occupies my life, is I don't want anybody to misuse farther and further. It's very easy. If you can tape measure it, it's farther. If it's delving in, it's further. Please don't mess that up. Don't just go, wow, well, that, we had to travel further than anybody else. No, you had to travel farther. That's not inspiration. That is just my own pet peeve. I'm going through this with students now, and I just don't want America to sound dumb. We're doing a lot of that on our own. So let's clean up the language. Let's good with further and farther. And maybe if I get back in round 3, we can cover more than and less than, as opposed to over and under.
I love that, my friend. Did you have a nice time tonight?
I had a great time. And you know me, like I said, I'm a sucker for, I can't remember literally scores from yesterday,
right?
Or half the Bucks roster, but I can name almost everybody Paul Mokeski played for. So that to me is really is certainly a treat. And then
you kind of dig the show, the format and everything. It speaks to you. Do you like it?
I enjoy that. Yeah. It's funny how you get the questions and you just think, oh, okay, that's great. I don't have to do this for a couple of days, and you set them aside. And yet they kind of become brain worms.
Right.
So you're there and you're thinking of that. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, you hear a song. You're like, oh, you're just riding in the car. Like, oh, I wonder if that could be the song. Or I'm, all of a sudden I'm literally putting Brooks away. And I think, that's it. This is my,
that's where I'm going to go. Yeah.
This isn't about sentimental, not for me anyway. That's just not how I operate. Like,
sure.
Imagine that. So that's kind of the thing I like, is that it comes through fruition here in this format that you put together. But like I said, you get the questions and they they're sent in a nice, timely manner, in that they give you a little time. You get a little time to marinate on them, or as my grandfather would say, you give it a little time to hatch. Right. Here's your first thought when you read them, but it's nice to sit on that egg for a while and warm up and see what happens.
Never know what it might look like. Thank you, my friend, for your hospitality, your humility, your intellect, and what you do with others. And I'm rooting for you, man. You are such a talented, courageous, brave human being, and I'm proud to call you friend. So I hope you have a great rest of the evening.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Mr. John Anderson, Matt Riddle, I got to tell you, my friend, first off, I think I'd be remiss if I didn't get the opportunity to say this. I'm still only the second best male in TKN history in the new network that can brag about his hair. You're the first. I'm not number. I will never have the best hair under this umbrella.
That hair looks pretty good. You're underselling it, bro.
Dude, your hair is absolutely.
It's a good head of lettuce right there.
But I got to tell you, so here's what I want to bring up, because you won't bring it up because you're humble. You've got a lot coming up. You're so busy in the best way possible. I like your studio setup, super professional, super slick. Anything I can do to help, and I didn't tell John Anderson this, but I want to tell you this as well. If I can help out with these gentlemen who want to be involved, I'm saying this on air. Progresso wants to help out. If I can help you out, I will, because you've got a lot to say. And everything you say, I think, resonates with any generation. I think you're like multi-generational, bro, and that's from the heart. But please, my friend, anything that you want to talk about coming down the pike, let our audience know, my friend.
Definitely. Well, I got a lot of stuff going on. I'm wrestling as usual, like every week, and I'm traveling the world. I probably got like 7 or 8 titles in Australia, titles in America, titles, you name it, I got it.
Yeah.
And then I got the Matt Riddle show that you can subscribe on YouTube, and the Instagram. They've been sending me money. I've been posting funny videos and stuff like that. So Riddle Bro on Instagram, at Super King of Bros on Twitter. And if you want to support me even more, you can always go to the link tree in the bio. I have other things. I got a merch store on there. I got other avenues of contacting me or planning events and etc. So, because I don't just do wrestling shows and meet and greets.
No.
I also host parties, and I do a lot of other things as well. Charity events like Give Kids the World and other events.
That's amazing, dude. And you do
so
it justice.
I try to stay as busy as possible while also trying to do the best I can with everything I have at home. And with 5 kids, multiple scenarios
I
to
don't know how
take
you
care
do it,
of.
man. I don't know how
Yeah,
you do it.
I barely do. I barely do.
How you do it,
That's
man,
how I
really.
do it. I barely.
Well,
But Avi, again, thank you for having me.
thank you.
The guests, John and Paul, they were fantastic. They were lovely. They seem like swell guys. And like
Absolutely.
I said, every time I come on here, it's only been twice, but every time it's been a blast. So thank you again, Avi.
Means a lot to me, my friend. Anything at all with a solo layout that you want to let our viewers know during tough times to hang in there? Anything, my friend.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. Most people will tell you to give up and stop. And, at the end of the day, when you're fighting for something you love or you want or you desire, you can't always listen to everybody, and sometimes you got to bet on yourself. And like I said, and Avi even brought up, when I was younger, I was kind of dainty looking. I had the long hair and kind of, I guess I would say feminine, but I was definitely more prissy. I guess or I came off that way, but I knew deep down that I wanted to be probably a combat athlete. I loved fighting. I like getting into scraps, and not because I like hurting people, but because I find it fun. I love the competition. I love the entertainment aspect of fighting and combat sports and professional wrestling. So I'm glad I did what I want to do. And when you do what you actually want to do, you don't really work. And I know people say that, but I'm telling you, like me, I love pro wrestling. I love fighting. The actual fights and the actual pro wrestling is easy. Now, traveling all over the world, doing this and that, that's hard, but the juice is worth the squeeze. So that's my advice, bro.
Dude, that is so awesome. Thank you for giving our audience a boost, man. Your presence is a present. Can't wait to break with you, my friend. You are someone I definitely admire as far as the human being that you are. And, man, I got to tell you, man, maybe round 3 awaits for Mr. Matt Riddle. I will see you soon, my friend.
I hope so. Thank you, Avi. I want to win that money and everything else. Going to Greece.
There we go. Mr. Matt Riddle, guys. What a great guy, Paul, huh? Matt Riddle, John Anderson. I mean, in all honesty, I love being able to see people meet each other for the first time here virtually. Matt's awesome. John's awesome. Did you have a nice time with Matt and John?
Yeah, I had a great time. Matt reminds me, I grew up in Southern California.
Okay.
And Matt reminds me of the cool dudes that were surfers and chill and got all the girls. And that's who Matt reminds me of. But he's just a down to earth guy.
Right on.
And,
Yeah.
He's
so smart. He's so well versed on so many things. He won't ever brag about his intellect, but he's so sharp. And it comes across because every time he speaks, there's substance. John Anderson, such a wordsmith. And then when it comes to you, my friend, you're being part of the team challenge as well on Wednesdays. I don't think that there's a topic that you can't delve deeply in. I think there's so many things that interest you. You have a real zest for life, man. You have a real passion for life.
Yeah, John is. I've watched John and ESPN, and he's from Wisconsin and then the Missouri Canadian. He's a really great guy, and it was really fun talking to him. Not an interview, just kind of talking to him. And his Ted Owens story was hilarious. That's
amazing. And that's what I try to tell some of the suits and ties, when we were first pitching the show is this isn't a podcast. And I'm not an interviewer. I like to consider myself a conversationalist because if we have these living room conversations with strangers, can you imagine what we could do with people that we know well? Do you imagine what we can do with people that maybe feel like they're alone and want to have a living room style conversation, but don't know how to go about that? You do that with such ease, my friend. Did you have a nice time?
Yeah, I agree with John. Like when I got the subjects for the show, I'm like, where do I go with this? But then it kind of sticks into you, and you think about it more. And actually, sharing it with my wife Linda, and kind of mulled it over for a few days, and then Naismith. And that song, Arms Wide Open, popped into my brain.
I was going to ask you about the song. Yeah,
because it's about a father welcoming his son, but it's also a sub idea of God welcoming someone into heaven. So it would be good for that transition of someone that's making that transition. And I believe, I don't know where I saw that or heard that, but what is your worth? And I have that picture of standing before my God in heaven, and the line of people that come up and say, you changed my life, or you did this for me. that dictates how much of an impact you've had on your life,
Truth.
and the years you've lived on this earth. And that really stood out. Then I put it with James Naismith, and millions of basketball fans, players, coaches, general managers. It just really stood out to me.
20 years ago, basketball saved my life. I don't mean on the court. Like everybody else that was on a team, I played on a team in high school, big deal. What I meant was way beyond high school and college and graduation. I was in a funk, and it was something as simple as having my dad call me up and say, hey, it was 2005. It was Indiana playing Boston. They made it to Game 7. That same day, Houston, Dallas made it to Game 7. And he's like, hey, let's watch the doubleheader. And I didn't want to. But he's like, let's watch the doubleheader. I'm insisting we watch it. And I was in such a funk, like we all can be in life. And I won't get into the details, but like right after watching those two games with my dad, I realized that if all I have at that moment is my dad's love in a game that I love, I'm good. That's a good starting point.
Yeah, and you know what? You watch a game, right? And I've told kids this and players this and whatever. Like in a game, let's just take sports, but let's just take basketball. So
yeah,
you're gonna be doing great, and all the shots are going in, and then you're gonna hit a wall, and the bounces aren't going for you, and the refs are calling fouls on you, and how are you gonna react to that? And then your team is doing really great, and you're up by 15, and now the other team made a run, and now you're down by 5. How are you gonna react to that? That has a transfer into life. So no matter what, like if you're going through a tough time in life, and then you see these athletes, probably that you admire are going through that in one single game, you're going, well, you know what? I'm in a funk right now. You know what? The Celtics were in a funk in the second quarter. In the third quarter, they kicked ass. Look what happened.
I remember the 94 Nugget game. I wasn't living in the U.S. at the time. So the 94 Nugget Sonics Game 5 aired at 3 a.m. in Europe, right? So I was in Europe. And I was like, I was a youngster. So essentially, like, I couldn't watch the game, even though my parents gave me liberties to watch every playoff game imaginable. The one game I wanted to watch the most, they wouldn't let me watch. They had an argument amongst themselves, and, hey, let's not let Avi watch the game. That's what it was. So I came up with this really cool, clever way of watching the game anyway. At 3 a.m, I wake up to watch Game 5 of Denver-Seattle. I was following the whole series. To give context to the situation, best of 5, way tougher for an 8 seed to beat a number 1 seed. They're also down 0-2, and they didn't beat Seattle once in the regular season. So how about that? I mean, when you think about it, back then there weren't expansion teams. There wasn't Toronto and Vancouver, of course. It was after Minnesota, Orlando, Charlotte, and Miami. But they played each other 5 times. They lost all 5 times. They win the next 2 games in Denver, and they go to Seattle to play Game 5 on NBC. As I said, I was in Europe. I'm watching this game at 3 a.m. The whole house is asleep. I decided to I had this whole plan. I decided to turn the TV on, but lower the volume right away by muting it, and then turning down the color and the brightness, and then putting a big towel underneath the door so that it wouldn't reflect through the door, so nobody could see anything or hear anything. And I'm watching this thing black and white with no commentary. And finally at the end, I said, if I get caught, who cares? Because the game is over now. It was Mutombo holding that ball. And that iconic call of Mutombo embraces the ball. I unmuted it just for that moment. And that's when I realized, you know what? We're all number 8 seeds. We're all number 8 seeds. We're all underdogs, and we could all do it, but it's so much, dare I say, easier. But it's more gratifying to do it as an ensemble, as a team. And that's what really gave me passion to do writing and theater and film and TV, because it's the same thing. You're working well with others. That one game reinforced that, Paul.
Yeah, if it was easy, everybody would do it. So the ones that persevere and see past the failures that are right in front of your face and can see past that to what could be, those are the ones like yourself, writers or producers or athletes. Those are the ones that succeed in the long run.
Well, you, my friend, are also an amazing writer. I'm glad we're collaborating. Your project is absolutely stunning. I love your ambition. I love what you stand for. My friend, before I bid you adieu, you had a nice time tonight? You had a nice evening?
Yeah, I had a great time as usual. Hope I'm back for round 3. Everybody out there that wants to vote for me if you can. I have a show, Basketball Past, Present, and Future. It's on YouTube. If you'll look at that, we talk about basketball, past, present, and future. We tell stories.
It's a great show.
It's with C.J. Watson, who played in the league for 10 years. He's younger than me. And then Jesse O is a great young announcer.
Yeah.
But we talk about, the NBA playoffs, like behind me. We talk about WNBA. We talk about subjects like NIL, money in college, and the transfer portal, and all things like that. So go to Basketball Past, Present, and Future on YouTube, and please subscribe and check us out. I think you'll like it.
I'm going to pull that up. Paul, any words of motivation or inspiration to our viewers?
No, I think just like we touched upon, it's the people that can see beyond the failure that's right in front of your face into what can be. It are the people that succeed in life and sports. So, don't think short term, think long term, and I think you'll be surprised at what can happen.
I love that, my friend, and I appreciate you a ton. Appreciate our friendship. I hope you have a great rest of the evening.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Likewise. Paul Mokeski, guys, John Anderson, and Mr. Matt Riddle. Guys, I'm going to go and turn it over right now to all of you to vote. But what I do want to say is very briefly is don't talk problems, because the greats talk solutions. Do it with others. Get to know them, peel back the layers, and I guarantee you, at the very least, you might make a friend. And there's nothing wrong with that in 2025. Have a great and blessed rest of your evening.
What? Just how? No! I'm laughing, I'm crying, I'm everywhere in between, and I am... My friends in the comment section, I hope y'all can vote, because I don't know if I can vote. This is the bad. Oh my God. No.
Words are failing right now because this was so good.
I can't.
Howard. Okay. Let's start with the topics.
Yes.
Topic one. Y'all vote in the comments. We're going to get to our votes. Don't worry. Maybe, if I can, because I don't know if I can.
Take this off.
But vote in the comments on topic one, on topic two. That first topic, home sweet home.
Oh my God.
Howard, thoughts on the way that was constructed, on what Avi did. Hey, Allison, thank you for voting Tim Tam. Or get your votes in for topic two. Hey, Sal.
It again, kudos to, first of all, Avi, conceiving these amazing topics, this panel that just poured their heart, minds, and souls.
Mm-hmm.
To me, this topic is ingenious because, oh my God, who doesn't connect with their home, right? It so much starts there. Your memories, who you form as a human being, it starts there. So to say you have to defend that, I mean, how are you not going to put your heart and soul into that topic? And we saw that from these gentlemen tonight. Wow.
We did. Sal, we saw your vote there for topic one. Let us know for topic two. And Drew, thank you for voting as well on both topics. Phil is going with John Anderson for topic one. Thank you for your vote, Phil. Sal is voting for Paul for topic two. No. Oh, my goodness. Oh, gosh. Excellent work from everyone involved. I know Pierre Kelly. Welcome, Pierre Kelly. Topic one gets to John. Thank you for that vote, Pierre. Let us know about topic two as well. And Phil voting for Paul for topic number two. I am glad y'all are bringing these votes in.
They're coming in, baby. Woo!
And topic two to Matt from Pierre. Thank you, Pierre, for that as well. Matt for topic two. Okay, Muddy Chalice 36. I'm gonna go with Matt. Is that topic one, topic two? Oh, Matt, then John. All right, Matt topic one, John topic two. Give us a little confirmation on that, Muddy Chalice, but I think that's what we've got here, and I can certainly understand why. I can understand why all of y'all are putting all of your votes in right now. Julio, topic one. I got Paul. Having lived in Vegas, it's just a hidden gem outside of what everyone knows it for. I have heard that absolutely. I've heard great things about Vegas. I've heard it's actually super family friendly. There's a ton of stuff to do for all types of families, whatever your situation may be, even kids. Power Shore, Matt came out strong for topic one. He certainly did. absolutely did. He came out, he set the tone for the night, and it just went up and escalated and escalated and escalated from there. Allison, Eagle, John, Miranda, Antonio, we need your votes. There we go, Allison. I vote Matt for topic 1 and 2.
Wow.
For Matt. Oh,
Matt all around.
Woo! Thank you, Allison, for that.
Okay.
Thank you for clarifying. Yes, awesome. We've got that counted in the back. We are tallying. It is, Howard, when's the last time it was this close?
I honestly, I can't remember. I mean, there's definitely been many matches but this close?
This close.
I think we all alluded to this in our lives. I believe you did. I did. The whole cast. I mean, I'm not surprised. Not surprised.
Not at all. Power Store has Paul for topic 2. Eric says Matt shined like a silver dollar tonight. Absolutely. Eric, is that an official vote? And for which topics? Christopher Farnan with his votes in. Okay. Wow. How to vote tonight. Trust me. Right there with you. Not a clue. This is really hard. Yes, it is. So tight. For topic 1, it goes to John. And topic 2, it goes to Matt. Thank you, Christopher. Yeah. It is really tight. I absolutely understand. Yes, Allison is reminding us all to vote. If you haven't yet, who haven't we seen? Classy Times. We haven't seen your vote yet. Oh gosh, Howard, who else hasn't voted yet?
Antonio, definitely put your vote in there, my friend.
Antonio, Joe, we need your vote.
Yes, Joe, put in your vote. Not sure if Miranda's voted or not, but yeah, Miranda, put in your vote if you can. Vote already, Matt. Okay, gotcha.
Great.
Thank you,
Matt,
Eric.
topic 1, Paul, topic 2. Thank you, Eric, for that. Making sure we've got that. We have everything counted back here. This was, I'm still spinning. My head is still spinning. And I thought we couldn't top the Tommy Davidson match.
Apparently tonight we did.
I think we did.
Yeah, I mean, you asked me that question. Yeah, that match with Tommy and McFoley and and Larry Hankin. I mean, that match also they brought in such a force of nature. But I mean, tonight, I mean, the vibing, the games. I mean, everything together was just like.
Oh my gosh! Did you hear them during I'd Pay?
Yes, yeah. I mean, I think I messaged. They literally they took it so serious, the scenarios, that so much humor and comedy came out of that. It was awesome. They were Paul's Seinfeld impersonation. Did anyone catch that? It happened 3 or 4 seconds, but it happened. I caught it. I saw it.
Matt Riddle thought we were talking about Conan O'Brien, not Conan the Barbarian, but both are equally valid choices. And if that is the image that popped into his head with that question, so be it. You could see it. He believed it. He saw it. And oh my God. I think we have a new option for that game now. We'll have to clarify which Conan, because both make sense.
They all did valid reasons for each one of their scenarios. I mean, Big Bird was very popular tonight. I mean, and the visuals of Big Bird waiting outside a house as he's taking down his culprit, painted very eloquently by Matt and Paul. I mean, wow.
What about was it Paul who said Freddy Krueger will essentially live rent-free in your head for an extra 8 hours? So he comes in, you've got your hour of personal training with him, and then you go to sleep and he's invading your dreams.
Yeah, you're getting all the slice for your buck, apparently. And he's more of a spotter, according to Matt, which was freaking awesome when he said that. It's more of a spot. I think he's more of a spotter. I was like, wow. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah. I mean, that alone would have been just, amazing entertainment. But we got so much more, as well as we always do, from Avi's topics. Yeah.
So much more. Seriously, if you haven't voted yet, get your votes in for topic 1 and topic 2 right now. We need to see those. It's so tight. So tight.
Yeah.
So tight. Antonio, Miranda, Eagle John, Classy Times. I don't know that we've seen all of your votes yet, so please get those in right now.
Yeah.
Your votes.
You need them.
You are the engine that makes this thing go, and you decide who is advancing to round number 3. Whew.
And they all want it. Did you see that? Did you see that? I mean, if you take a screenshot of the first moment that topic started, I mean, those were locked in target-specific game faces. I mean, that was intense.
And then Paul Mokeski came back with some rebuttals. He said, well, why would you want to live here where it snows? Or why would you want to live here where it... Oh, my gosh.
And then for the first time, it was rebuttal tag teaming because Paul and Matt went after John after his Vince Lombardi point. And I thought, what? Where I've never seen that. The time's coming, Giselle.
No, I'm not ready. Yeah. Okay, topic 2 is hard. Johnny McKinney, thank you. Matt Riddle, is that for topic 1, topic 2, or both? Please let us know. Howard, did I hear you say the time is coming?
Yeah, it is. That very difficult task we have been assigned to do tonight.
Oh. Power, thank you, Power Shore. Yes, it keeps getting better.
Big Bird, Matt Ram. Yeah, he did. Giselle, do you wanna?
Are you ready?
I got my notes.
I have mine too. That doesn't mean I'm ready for this one. Oh God, topic 1. Matt Riddle came in. He was locked in. He set the tone for the evening. He knew exactly where he was going. He hit all of these points of what makes Florida special. He freaking mentioned the Everglades. That's at the top of my list of places I want to visit. That's the best. To me, that's the part of Florida I want to see most. He brought up Florida Man. Everyone's heard the jokes about Florida Man, but there is a real reason why Florida Man exists, and it is because of their laws regarding journalists and what questions they can ask law enforcement and how they have access to those records. So Florida Man is not a myth. It is true. He just gets lumped together and we're able to have all of these stories that seem so unbelievable about Florida Man. Sunshine State. How can you go wrong with that? We need our vitamin D. That's a great point for the aliens. Hot Springs, love to see them. And then he brings up random facts like it's the lightning capital of the world.
That's oh my God. Yeah, that was not me.
I don't know if that's a point in favor for anything, but it's cool to know.
It is. Hey, never know when you'll need it, you know.
And then NASA, so many of the space shuttle launches take off from Florida. And then he brought up Ponce de Leon, Spanish explorer, looking for the Fountain of Youth, thought it was there. Florida means flowery. He did find it around Easter time. So that is how Florida got its name from the Spanish. Yes, I know, Julio. And yes, we are stalling a little bit because this one's really hard to understand. Yeah. Okay. So we do need to vote, Howard. We do.
Yes, we do.
That is topic 1. I haven't even gotten to McKesky, who broke it down by bullet points and numbers for us, telling us the beauty, the geography, what Nevada has to offer in regards to sports, and the future. He went into the future of it. It used to be called the Silver State. Now they're looking at lithium. And then unexpectedly, Bugsy Siegel?
What?
How?
Oh my God. Yeah, he went there. He went to Bugsy. Yeah.
I understand, Julio. I am also biting my nails metaphorically right at this moment. Okay, and then John Anderson, Wisconsin, Packers, cheese, beer, toilet paper, I guess Sportsman's Paradise again with hunting and fishing, although I take a little exception to that because Louisiana's license plates all say we're Sportsman's Paradise.
Okay.
Right, but then the Great Lakes.
Yeah.
And it has everything Florida and Nevada has, but then Vince Lombardi, who put Wisconsin on the map, so to speak. Lambeau Field. I do think for this first one, I am going with Paul Mokeski.
Okay.
Just the way he broke everything down about the state, talked about the state as a whole, specifically the city he's in, and then the surrounding areas, talked about the past and the future, and then how someone like Bugsy Siegel fits into this and can be. All right, Pierre, I understand. Topic 1, Paul Mokeski.
All right.
You thought topic 1 was hard.
You're halfway there, Giselle. We're halfway there.
Topic 2. I don't even know how to vote on this one. We've got everyone from Socrates to Abraham Lincoln to Dr. James Naismith.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I'm not sure.
Oh, gosh. Shout, Iota's Day in the Nights, inspiring centuries of deep thinkers from Socrates. Oh, gosh. And then Matt Riddle coming in with Lincoln, one of our most popular historical figures in this second round. But what a wonderful world. And how we explained how Lincoln helped create that world, what he was going to see after, and specifically choosing Louis Armstrong, personal connection there as well. And then we get to Paul Mokeski, sentimental, Naismith, who invented basketball and told us what that game means to him and what it taught us about life, how it shaped his life, allowed him to travel to so many different countries, and then choosing Arms Wide Open as this father-son.
Yeah.
Relationship. It's tough because all of their reasons are great. I don't know if I'm convinced myself. I think I'm going with Mokeski again.
Okay.
I really like the way he broke everything down tonight.
Beautifully valid. Valid. Yeah, wait for me to get to that.
Yeah, you're trying. Good luck.
All right. So I'm going to really hit to the core of what really resonated with me in all of their amazing points. Matt brought in, he talked about Florida, the Gators, again, the number one capital of lightning, and the Everglades. But what really got me was that extra piece of homework with Ponce de Leon, and how he was trying to look for the fountain of youth, and how this might be also an appealing thing for the aliens as well. And I thought that was really strong. Again, Paul talking about the visionary that Bugsy Siegel was, to be able to see a desert land, nothing there, just desert, dry wind, was able to envision what this city, what this Nevada became. Right? That was a very powerful. And John talked about Wisconsin and beer and cheese. Who's not going to want beer and cheese? Great combination. And then Vince Lombardi, such a motivational speaker and figure. Man, I'm going to throw my pen down. I'm going with Matt. It's the Ponce de Leon thing. I don't know why. It's just that extra homework he did. And I could see aliens being very, curious about the fountain of youth. Okay, second topic.
I do really like this because Matt had his moments of wit and humor, but he was also very serious about the topic. And I love John Anderson, and I do think he could win this whole thing. But he really approached this first topic in a very lighthearted manner.
Yeah.
And had a lot of jokes about that. But it's still tough. It's still tough because he still gave a lot of information. Okay, yes. Topic 2, Howard.
He all did. Topic 2. Oh my God, Socrates. And he painted that picture of him right before he drinks the hemlock, and he's about to, let's give this guy some life, right? Let's give this guy some energy, right before the pearly gates. And what an amazing song by Otis Day and the Knights, Shout. I mean, come on. Yes, I loved it. Man, Matt, Abraham Lincoln, and what a wonderful world, and how he connected the two, how Lincoln created so much of through his the amazing struggles and that he went through, and what he contributed to civil rights, and how that created so much of the picture of the song. I thought how he connected those two is beautiful. But Paul, oh God, James Naismith talked about how he was such a, kind of a wimpy kid, and he didn't find his place, and came this amazing sport that gave him so much life and significance. Mm-hmm. And then Arms Wide Open.
I haven't even thought about that song in years, and as soon as he said it, it's
guys and gals and pals. Howard, I believe you voted twice. Am I not mistaken?
I'm voting for Paul.
We are about to play the outro right now, guys, but we got to find out who won. This is easily, you could tell, by the passion in the comment section. Two of our most passionate shows back-to-back Wednesday and Saturday. Guys, Wednesday night, Team Challenge is back. You're going to find out in the outro what the next matchup we have is. Phil Miranda just had an impromptu second-round match on Wednesday. A lot of stuff going on. But this matchup tonight between ESPN legend, 25-year veteran, legendary and award-winning ESPN anchor and analyst John Anderson, UFC and WWE great Matt Riddle, and NBA great Paul Mokeski, it's gone down to the wire. What a conversation they had. I'm seeing the Greenermers in the back. They want to be on screen. They're going to get on screen because guess what? This is a family. We got Joe. We got Phil. I think we got Kelly in about a minute. Howard, your final vote, guys?
It was Paul. It was Paul. He got my heart, got my mind. That beautiful song, how he painted that picture, and then you see everyone.
It was Paul. Let's get them all on screen. Let's get them all on screen right now because we're about to play the outro. But first, we're going to find out who won. That's going to take about 30 seconds only. So, guys, Kelly, I could see them all anticipating. They're all anticipating this. Kelly, we're going to find out who won this thing right now. We're going to find out who won this matchup right now. And then play the outro immediately after. Really quickly, guys. Really quickly. Joe, Phil, and Kelly, you're in anticipation to see who won this thing, right?
Of course. Yes. No, I want to know.
Come on.
Thank you. No.
One of these guys is my partner, so, or was my partner. I'm not sure, but I'm invested.
Look, come on.
We're invested.
Look, I'm slipping.
Guys. Here we go. 2 out of 3 move on. Let's watch this video right now. All eyes on screen. All of our viewers as well. Thank you for your passion. Let's see who won. Every vote. Woo!
That's excellent news. Thank you.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. No one, including myself, nobody saw this happening in round number 2. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Look at this. Look what this says here, guys. Tom has been eliminated. Tom Anderson from this tournament. What an upset! What an upset!
They happen.
Guys, you saw this is the first major upset in round 2 of the TKN Celebrity Tournament. You saw him in our top 10. John Anderson was a perennial favorite to win this whole thing. He's been eliminated. Let's go to the outro right now. We'll get reactions on Wednesdays, but look at the nonverbals, guys. Just in about 5 seconds, myself included, no one saw this coming. Am I right? No one saw this.
Nope. No one.
Nope.
No.
Thank you.
Everybody I talked to had him as the number one vote getter, myself included.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah, me too.
And guys, I love John. John did everything right. John's a great dude. I'm shocked. I count the votes later on if you have nothing to do at night. Count the votes. John Anderson has been eliminated. For Howard Collado, Giselle, Kelly White, Joe Ricciano, Phil Justin. Here's the outro. We're going to find out who's up next week. Guys and gals and pals, thanks for tuning in. Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on this YouTube channel. It's the Celebrity Team Challenge. This outro will show you who's up on Wednesday and who's up on next Saturday. I got to go. I got to make calls. This is insane.
Wow. I know that. Bill Berry.
Obsession's going to be talent every time. You got all the talent in the world, but are you obsessed? Is it all you ever think about?
My junior year of high school, I went to my guidance counselor to get advice about college choices. And he said that I wasn't a good enough player to play at a major college. I just remember that really motivated me my senior year to work as hard as I could on the court and also continue what I was doing in the classroom.
I said, okay, I'm quitting. And then the next morning I woke up in the morning and I just slammed my fist on my pillow. I go, I don't want to quit. And then I thought, well, you better get your ass in gear. And then, all right, what do I have to do? And I thought about it and I was like, oh my God. And then it was like, but I gave up everything. I didn't go to a restaurant. I didn't do anything, but I had a job as a messenger and I would practice that in my car. Doing voices and speeches.
Friday, he goes, I went to work yesterday, Thursday at 7. And I said,
this is the worst job in the world.
You left, and I'm 5 and I got it. I said, you left yesterday at 7 in the morning and you're coming home the next day, Friday at 9?
Perfect opportunity for your dad to say, what did I say?
Yes, and I thought, right then I thought, I do not want to be a doctor.
In times of deep division, we could use a leader who understands struggle, but chooses to lead with dignity, without ego, and a reminder of what's possible. That is who I would nominate for president in 2028.
40-year anniversary of the World Series in 1985, and for $19.85 a month
for a year, that equates to one person, one of our cancer warriors' utility bills for the month. And
your father wakes you up to watch The Late Show when you're around 8 years old, and you watched guys like Robert Dunay from Goodbye Mr. Chips, and he said, man, that's real acting. That's what I want to do. Is that right?
Yeah, I was actually 6. I was in the first grade, and he woke me up for the 11:30 movie, which was in the middle of the night for me at 6. And he says, I want you to see a movie. So I got up and I watched. I couldn't believe it was one person playing that man from 19 to 80. And that was the first seed of playing other people.
Sure.
To the point where other people could believe I were those people.
Say in the book that with Star 80, it took you to a very dark place. I'm just wondering, when you take on a role where it takes you to a dark place, how do you go home and live normally after that?
Well, at the time, I had a wonderful girlfriend. She's much older than me. Her name was Sandy Dennis.
Sure.
She was an Academy Award-winning incredible actor, and she understood, and she was very giving, understanding, and helpful.
Based on what I'd been doing for the last 40 years was pretty much diminished. Life had moved on without me. Learning how to be grateful changed everything for me. And rather than taking 5 years to pay off that Chapter 11, I did it in 2.
In my life, I've had different relationships that once it's over, it's over. There's no hanging on to anything. And that's kind of the way I felt about WCW at that point. I just pretended it didn't happen.
I chose Alexander the Great, King of Macedonia. I mean, he was a great warrior, which I believe in my heart I am too. Now, if I was to meet him at 5 years old, the main thing that I would say is you're a very, very smart young man, but you have got to make sure that with all of the wonderfulness that that you're entitled to not be so self-entitled, to enjoy life.
Hey, I thought that was you. What's up?
Hey, look, this is
I'm Shantae. I'm sorry. Hey. Is that DKN? Yes, it sure is. Oh, girl, cute. Oh, thank you. Nice to see you, Kate. Talk to you soon. She was nice. Who's she? Don't cause a scene. Don't go off. In situations like this, less is always best. Right now, he doesn't know what to think.
Like, Dad, if we had show and tell now, I would bring you because you could fix anything. Like, he's the Mr. Fix-It guy. It was so tough when he passed because I thought, ooh, he's my safety net. Like, I could call him for anything.
But I've learned about everybody. Like, we are so capable of doing more than we think we are, and living outside our box and trying something new, and, just giving it all to something different and having a new challenge is so important, I think, to grow as a person.
Absolutely.
We learn from our culture, we learn from our elders, we learn from our teachers, but the spark of originality is something that is not connected to information. It's not unconnected to information, but it is not caused by information. It's caused, I guess, by what one of my favorite teachers, Bernard Lonergan, called insight.
He's fair, but he's got a short fuse. He does treat the courtroom as his little kingdom, and he likes to entertain people as well. So he's a typical judge.
But in the 80s, they changed and they started using celebrities to sell. They started using kids more to sell products.
If you read so many things in the Bible and so many things that have come true on earth over the years, it's because of man's quest for control, man's quest of power.
By Stevie Ray, followed by a left to right,
Scanning Chris Benoit. Oh! And that's wrong.
Look at me, Chirostan watching his proper game. 175 on the bar, makes it look easy.
Because nobody can now go from high school to the NBA.
Yes.
They now have to have 1 year doing something else.
Yep.
Before they can go to the NBA. And I'll never forget Jermaine O'Neal coming out all puzzled, going, wait a minute, you mean you can go die in Iraq, but you can't play basketball?
How about when our media used to be the fourth branch of government? Our media was there to be the check of watching the other three. But our media today, mainstream, is not that, Larry. They are bought and sold.
That was a time actually walking through this issue and experiencing what happened. The police driving through our neighborhood when I was a kid, escorting the Ku Klux Klan through.
I talked about that culture of Lackawanna, New York, and my parents and what they taught me and the culture of Lackawanna, New York. Hard work, discipline. My dad worked, as you said, in a steel mill. My mom was a cleaning lady in the Ellicott Square building in downtown Buffalo. So, everything that they did, they worked hard for. And I saw that. And it gave me tremendous motivation.
I've always been totally optimistic. When I come to training camp, whenever I see the media, the press, hey, where's the Super Bowl this year? We're going to be there. I mean, that's always my attitude. And it's not a front. It's not something I put on. I believe that. Now, I'm the believer in psycho-cybernetics. You got to envision all the great things happening, and you got to make them happen.
Anybody who knows young man thinking about playing sport, or just young men in general, make sure you just ask them, how are they doing, right? And when you ask them, and most time they'll say good, just ask them, how are they feeling?
With him, and he's trying to get her back, so he puts the boombox up and shows up at her house and plays the song, and it hit every emo note. It hit every bit of pathos, every bit of what this guy was feeling.
You have to be wrong or have an attitude of humility in those spaces in order for you to grow.
Just going down memory lane, what dawned on me is a lot of people were excited about these music videos, and they would get these dance moves from them, and they'd have a crush on that girl, or girls would have a crush on that guy, but no one ever really knew the names. But the thing that really perturbed me, I always wanted to say that word, is that I don't like what women have become or been used for in hip-hop today. Okay. And I just wanted to create a contrast in regards to telling the stories of the women then, or girls at that time then, what it was about, what you needed to do to even be involved.
Here we go, guys. Here we go.
Guys, our first upset, our first major upset. Thank you for joining us tonight. Paul McKesky has moved on to round 3. Matt Riddle has moved on to round number 3. John Anderson, love you. Might see you down the road in the John Amos Cup. But in the meantime, guys, for Kelly White, Phil Justin, Giselle, Howard Collado, Joe Rositano, Miranda, who's not here, Peaceful Pete, Pinocchio Joe. Love the Green Roomers. Love the hosts. Give them all your love. They are here to stay, and so are you. And so is the TKN Celebrity Tournament round number 2. See you Wednesday night on the Black Box, guys. 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Same bat channel, same bat place, same bat time.